I'm a pedo, and I think that shows. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playgrounds, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a sim bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playgrounds, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a sim bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playgrounds, watching kids playing. Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playgrounds, watching kids playing. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playgrounds, watching kids playing.
Sound TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Please give the stream a like. Thanks for being here. I didn't quite get started as early as I normally do today. A lot of times I'm started at 9 a.m. my time. I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning being like, hey, well, my alarm went off and I was like, hey, I should get up and start a stream. Then I was like, fuck it, I'm not. And then I went back to sleep and I slept until 10 a.m., which is really late for me to be sleeping until. I'm usually up at least by 9. But on mornings when I stream, if I haven't, what I need to start doing is I need to start setting up the streams before I go to bed. The night before, setting up the stream before I go to bed. That would probably be more ideal. But yeah, here we are. It's in the afternoon here. 1:20. It's 1:24 p.m. here right now. And I decided to bring back something a little, it's different from recent times, but we used to talk about Glenn Beck on the show all the time. So I downloaded some Glenn Beck stuff that I think would be interesting to look at. Got some news. Got some other stuff to go over. I was originally going to do a private show tonight, but the holidays kind of got in the way. Kind of like last month. The holidays got in the way. And people didn't get their video submissions in. So It's the year 2124 in the UK. We are 100 years in the future. I know you mean like 2124 the time, but I looked at it, I'm like 2124. The UK was trapped in a time warp that hurled them 100 years into the future. Someone should write that into a sci-fi novel. Glanderson Booper. Glanderson Booper. I have the Glander, the Beck, the GB, just not the Anderson Ooper. Let's we should check it out though and see, what our buddy Glenn has been up to besides paying Eric July. Let's check it out.
I should turn off that goddamn internet.
Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. TP, are they going to touch me?
All right. All right, let's check it out. This is a quick clip, and then we've got some longer ones. I got this one from Right Wing Watch, which is, I used to use that all the time to pull content from. Glenn Beck loves nothing more than spreading fake history. Let's see what this...
Our founders...
Okay, he looks like he has slowly turned into Colonel Sanders. He needs to start wearing the weird tie that Colonel Sanders wore back in the day. He needs to switch to a fully like a white suit. And he already has I don't know why he wanted the Benjamin Franklin glasses.
Hated the government. They hated it. They saw the administrative deep state as something far more terrifying than we ever will, because they lived through it. George Washington, in his farewell address of 1796, said it the best, quote, "Government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is force. And force, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a fearful master." I want the t-shirt.
I want the t-shirt. Let's check out. Okay, this is Glenn Beck making the case that the new DOGE department headed by Elon Musk and Ramaswamy is working already. They're not even in office, but it's already working. Let's see.
I want to talk about the collapse of the unity.
He looks like because I remember him like 25 years ago. He got some kind of Botox or something. He looks like one of those Hollywood actors that like their face doesn't move naturally anymore, like a Mickey Rourke kind of guy. Only Mickey Rourke was like a handsome guy, and then at some point he like fucked his face up, and Glenn Beck never was. But Glenn Beck looks very strange now.
Can you give this story to me, Liz, with just the details of everybody's arguing and hating on each other?
Yes, it is, of course. If you listen to the mainstream media, it's a circular firing squad between Chip Roy, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk. I don't view it that way at all. I think that I actually like to see this kind of contention within the Republican ranks, because how lucky are we that
Liz Wheeler.
2 months ago we were debating good versus evil, and now we're debating good versus
Money.
Better. This is
Yeah.
a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It also shows you that the DOGE process is working. Elon Musk said, listen, go ahead.
So before we get there,
How is something working when they're not even a thing yet? Like they're not in. Huh. Yeah. How is a new department that hasn't even been established yet working?
What happened? Because I was on a plane yesterday, so I didn't.
She didn't make the audition for Fox Blonde, so she's Glenn Beck Blonde.
See the bill that was presented, and I get off the plane, and everybody's hating on each other. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? Mike Johnson proposed his bill on Wednesday, and that went to hell in a handbasket. Thank God we got rid of that. That would have been a nightmare. Then they proposed a second bill, and it increased the debt ceiling, which has to be done by June or July of this year, increased it by $5 trillion. And all of the conservatives, and quite frankly, conservatives like me, and I think you, that have been for stop raising the debt ceiling, let's get out of debt. We started having this debate about the debt. The debt ceiling has got to go up. Unfortunately, at this time. Well, let me finish what actually happened first before we get into that. So people like Chip Roy stood up, and Donald Trump had endorsed this. They say it was a clear CR, but if I'm not mistaken,
where are they? Why is there so much background noise? Are they at some kind of convention or something? Because it sounds like they're in a convention hall. Or an airport or a shopping mall or something like that. Does he do his show live from Bennigan's? Glenn Beck.
Then there's some other stuff in there like protection for the January 6ers. Was that left
live from Applebee's, the Glenn Beck program
in, or was that taken out? Do you know, Jill?
It was mostly. All right. It was mostly
Liz,
clean.
Sorry.
It was
He called her by the wrong name. He said Jill. And then he's like, all right, Liz, whatever the fuck her name is. Whatever, they all look the same now. They all run together. I can't keep them straight.
The objectionable parts that you raised your voices against.
Live from Buffalo Wild Wings, the Glenn Beck program.
In the past couple of days were removed. The reauthorization of the Global Engagement Center, the vaccine passports, that kind of garbage was taken out.
They must be in different locations, I'm guessing.
Did increase the debt ceiling. Technically, I think it was an extension of the already increase. It was automatic increases. And I understand in principle, most of us don't want to increase the debt ceiling. However, it became an argument last night about that specifically, which distracts from what I think.
Yeah. Jill, the old blonde, she's not around. The blonde factory pumped this one out. And now he's working with her. Jill, Liz, who gives a shit? Just talk to me, honey. Just talk to me.
The picture being, for a long time in Washington, D.C., and Congress, the people who have said they're fiscally conservative haven't been effective in making that happen and making cuts. So what Donald Trump did is he hired what he considered to be the most brilliant man in our country to say, retool this process and do it better.
He hired himself?
Elon Musk came in with DOGE and said, what we're going to do.
With DOGE. Most people are not talking about how this is named after a crypto coin. Like they came up with the acronym first and then decided which words were going to be part of the acronym. Nobody talks about that, at least like in the conservative media, they don't talk about it.
It was be transparent with you. We're going to tell you exactly what your tax money is being spent on, and then we're going to leave it to you to lobby your congressional members to cut that. And Glenn, that's exactly what happened this time. We looked at that 1,500-page bill that speaks.
Elon just swooped in. He has all the cash. He's got actual cash and not debt like Trump does. And he gets to call the shots because that's the one thing Trump will bend the knee to is the cash. When the cash is coming in.
Johnson had put forward, we identified 5 or 6 egregious things in that bill, said no, and effectively we were.
I bet you Trump gets like an Elon allowance.
Victorious. We got that bill killed, which is, I think, very exciting. And then we had this clean version.
Like those private planes and shit they've been flying on. I mean, pretty soon Trump will have Air Force One, and then it's like he can fly wherever he wants in that shit. But, you know, in the meantime, Elon's probably picking up the bill on a lot of this stuff.
And then that's when the drama started.
Yeah, that's when the drama started because
I don't think Elon hasn't paid off Twitter yet. I'm pretty sure he may have taken a loan to buy Twitter. I don't know. But either way, he's got the money. He has the cash to pay it off. He could just pay it off.
Because there are, and I'm one of them, that have been so tired of, we're going to raise the debt, but then we're going to cut. I don't believe anybody in Washington. However, I do believe Donald Trump. I do believe Elon Musk. I do believe Vivek Ramaswamy. I do believe, just for survival reasons alone, Donald Trump has got to take a hatchet to the size of this government. Okay?
And is the military on the table for that? Probably not. It's probably shit like PBS, which is like a drop of water in a swimming pool. But you guys want to cut the shit that's just objectively good. Infrastructure, things that we need.
So let's just look
and the Department of Education.
At it from I will be killed or I will be thwarted by this giant government, and I've got to reduce the size so it doesn't have octopus arms everywhere trying to choke me out.
So he's still doing the government's too big. Trump is fine with the government being as big as it wants to be. He's fine with that. Trump never once said small government. I haven't heard that from the Republicans in a long time. Trump's fine with the big government. We need a big government. He wants to be the leader of the big government, not the small government. What you talking about, Glenn Beck?
I believe that he wants to cut the size of government, and I believe he has a plan to.
How do you believe that? When did he say that? When did Trump say he wanted to cut the size of the government? He said he did DOGE and it's got to run more efficiently, but he didn't say anything about the size of it. I think Trump is perfectly fine with the size of the government.
Do it. I believe that Elon Musk is a guy. I mean, Donald Trump.
Don't you believe Elon Musk is a guy?
Trump got famous for saying you're fired. Elon Musk is famous for actually firing people. And cutting all of the non-essential. So those two together have reasons. One is, hey, this just needs to run like a sound operation. And the other one is that plus, and it's trying to kill me. So I believe they're incentivized unlike anyone else.
Is he like in the lobby of the Holiday Inn? Or something like, where is he? Why does he need to be here? And then the other, like the woman's at the studio where it's all quiet. I don't like all the background.
In my lifetime to cut the size of the government. Donald Trump, to me, and I love Chip Roy. I love him. I hope he replaces John Cornyn.
By the way, please like the stream. It helps get more people in here. It just objectively does. So if a bunch of you like the stream, it could help out a lot. Streaming this hour of the day and having Glenn Beck in your thumbnail, not always the most alluring thing, but there was really, I looked at the news today. I'm like, not much really. And then I looked at the world of the Cobraverse and other places, not much. So
I love him.
I watched that weird guy that fakes being autistic last night. Had nightmares about that shit.
However, at this point, I believe Donald Trump should be given the benefit of the doubt for this reason.
No.
He's got to do.
First mistake.
If he wants to fix America and make it truly great, he can't do what the Democrats have done, and that is just start spending money like crazy.
So I remember, like a lot of other conservatives, because of his personal character, a lot of these religious conservatives like Glenn Beck, Mitt Romney, and then like Ted Cruz and Rubio and all them, they were all very much against Trump because of Trump's personal character and the way he behaved. And Romney was the only one that kind of stood his ground on that. Glenn Beck became a MAGA guy about halfway through Trump's presidency. A lot of these people that were like, no, Trump is toxic for the Republican Party, they fell in line, J.D. Vance included. Now J.D. Vance, if there's a good chance J.D. Vance will be the next president. I want all of you to let that sink in. And not only just if Trump dies or something. Like, I think if Trump passes the baton and makes J.D. Vance his successor, if he puts those words out there, the MAGA-tards will vote for him.
Pushing money out the door. He's got to return the money to you. So he has to have these tax cuts, and he has to have them right now. When he walks through the door, he has to have them. So you're going to have this period where you're flipping the entire company of the United States government upside down. You're in a transition period. And so we're going to need to spend more as we cut more. But you cannot shut off the debt. We're $1 trillion.
Right. A lot of Republicans said Trump was toxic and then realized, oh, I'm a Republican and Trump is about to take over my party and I'll be politically homeless if I cross Trump too much. And most of them fell in line.
Every 100, I'm sorry, not $1 trillion.
Very few. And the people that really spoke out against him, Trump had them primaried, like Liz Cheney. He tried to do it to the governor of Ohio, but apparently Mike DeWine is just very well liked there. So even though he's a non-Trumper Republican, he gets to stay. Because during COVID, Mike DeWine was like, oh no, we're shutting shit down. Ohio shut shit down quicker than Washington did, which is crazy because like the first deaths in the U.S. were in Washington State. And Ohio's like a way more conservative state, but their Governor Mike DeWine there shut all the restaurants and everything down really quick. And I think it happened here like 2 to 3 days after that happened. So he criticized the way Trump was handling COVID and that kind of stuff. And Trump was like, oh, we're going to primary you. It hasn't happened. But, you know, they also elected J.D. Vance there.
Yeah, $1 trillion every 100 days. $1 trillion every 100 days. We're $1 trillion a year just in interest now. You can't, $5 trillion is not a lot when you're playing with these numbers. It's obscene to even say that. We have to cut trillions.
Okay, and it's one thing to say we have to cut spending. It's another thing to like give us a roadmap, Glenn. Tell us where the cuts are going. Where are the cuts coming from?
Out. But Donald Trump, to be able to pull this off, he has got to make people's lives better quickly. And the two ways to do it is first...
Have we seen Nina on Glenn Beck and Cenk snuggling up to MAGA yet? It's so gross. What isn't TYT's water and air?
I have seen a little bit of... Anna Kasparian being hypercritical of the left and Cenk being a little more than he was before. But even those two have kind of butted heads a few times because Cenk was like, oh, yeah, they should run Kamala in California because she would win. And Anna's like, what are you doing? They kind of butted heads and she's like, I'm gonna quit my job. I remember her saying that. Because she couldn't stay in California. Yeah, it all started with people calling her racist. Well, she did two things where she got called out. The one was she talked about... People called her a racist because some homeless guy like groped her on the street, allegedly. Which might have happened, who knows. And they called her racist, but in reality, she claims the guy that did it was white. And no one even people were just assuming the gender or the race. And then there was the birthing person thing. Yeah, that honestly, it's best to not fight with people on social media. I mean, like making videos, like video content, I think is a little different than having like a Twitter flame war, you know, in my opinion. But yeah, that's where a lot of
money
that came
to
from.
the people, and then to make it actually last, cut all of the regulation and all of the size of the government. That one, we don't want to be fighting two battles. We want to fight one battle. And in my opinion, Donald Trump has shown me he's willing to take a bullet for the Constitution and the United States.
No. Oh yeah, he was willing to take that. He was willing.
And for us, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, coupled with Elon Musk.
What a weird way to interpret that someone, like, he wasn't willing to let that happen. He wasn't. No, he's not willing to take a bullet. He took one very superficially, apparently.
Because I believe their intentions are aligned with my intentions and desires. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, like I said, it's a funny.
Oh, he's getting hot. He's getting heated up. He could never button the top button on that shirt. Do you see it? It's holding, like the button below that is holding on for dear life right now. That top button, he could never get that buttoned.
Situation, because they're both right. Chip Roy is correct in principle that
You're right, Jill. I mean, Liz, whatever your name is.
cut spending, and Donald Trump and Elon Musk are correct in practice. And so
it's timing. It's just timing.
It is timing. They're actually both going to achieve, or they hope to achieve, the same thing. I concur with your analysis. I have hope that Donald Trump is, I mean, he's a changed man. We've all seen this.
It's funny because she works for him and he forgot her name. I like how she's just talking. He's like, yeah,
Since he took a bullet to the ear, he is viewing the world differently. He's viewing.
No, he's not. He is not different at all. He has not changed at all. Where are they getting this from?
His own life differently. He's viewing his duty to us differently.
He's making a duty on us with his presidency.
Doing his stewardship of our country differently. He is doing something groundbreaking. He is upending, disrupting the process in Congress that has been business as usual. And it can be messy. And maybe not everyone in Congress, even if they are principally correct, has quite grasped that, oh, this is the new way that we're going to do things. I think Donald Trump has this right.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that the Republicans, the fiscally responsible Republicans.
You're definitely right, sugar tits.
And it could turn out that you're right and I'm wrong.
Sugar tits, Jill, I mean Liz.
But I really, truly believe disruption is where we're going. And this did disrupt. And if we don't all stand together, they will disrupt us. And I am not one to believe that the spending is going to magically go down. I don't believe that.
I mean, what you just said earlier kind of makes it sound that way. And you still haven't said where the spending is going to be reduced. Where?
But if you were a family and you were a business and you were running debt and you just didn't know what to do. How do I stop the hemorrhaging? Who in the world would be the best advisor?
Did he get like cheek fillers? He doesn't even look like the same person. Like if I saw him walking down the street, I would not be like, oh, that's Glenn Beck. I'm used to the way he looked 10 years ago. He looks totally different.
That you could get. Who in the world could you say, I need somebody to look at all these finances, figure out.
He was always a chunky guy. He definitely got a little fatter, but it's not drastic. But his face looks weird, like he got Botox.
Schedule 35 promo code.
Yes, I can absolutely do that.
What's what and how to cut and how to make my business stronger. I can't imagine anyone better than Elon Musk. So
you can't even imagine anybody better? Because you're saying, like, I can imagine a lot.
Let's listen to Elon and Donald Trump. And by the way, if anybody thinks that Elon is taking over, did you read how the tweets came out? He went to Donald Trump. Trump and the vice president were working together on a statement, and Elon came in and said, hey, I want to release this. Is it okay if I release this? And Donald Trump read it and said, yeah, go for it. That's where we are. Go for it. So Elon's not leading the president. Believe me, the president has a plan.
I mean, this is how it works with Trump. You kiss his ass a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, this guy likes me," and then you wine and dine him, for lack of a better term, and that's what Elon did. Like, Trump didn't like Elon at first. Trump was like, "Oh, he's got these electric cars. You can't even drive 10 miles in them. They're terrible cars." And now he got a taste of, like, Elon's got money and nice things. Yeah, he's easy to manipulate because you just stroke his ego. All right, here is the Schedule 35 link and promo code. Oh shit! No! Don't do that! Don't do that! I forgot that it does this. Give me just a second. I have to. How fucking. Copy. So there's the link. I have to do it in 2 separate posts. It didn't used to work this way. There. And I'll put it in the description if anyone else is interested. Yeah, YouTube recently made that change where, like, if you put, like, a link and then some text after it, it makes it all one thing, even though you clearly put a space. So there it is, also in the description too.
Let's give him all the opportunities we can to let him execute it. Because
I actually used some of the points recently that I've been getting from people buying from Schedule 35, and I'll show you guys what I got eventually here.
We've all come up with other plans, and none of them have worked. This one has some of the best minds in the world on it. Let's let them do their job.
All right, there's that. Here's one with Glenn and Charlie Kirk. Oh, 3 ways to shrink the Department of Education. Because that's what we need. We need more poorly educated.
Charlie Kirk is with us. Charlie.
Oh, God, he's wearing a New York Yankees cardigan? I know Glenn Beck's not from New York.
Glenn, great to see you. It's phenomenal. First of all,
please like the stream, by the way, if you haven't already. Give the stream a big fat like. Thank you so much. And thanks for getting us to 39% of our goal. That's sweet. I was hoping to finish this goal today at like 50 to 55%. So if you want to help out with that, feel free. Use the link pinned in the top of the chat. Works better than Super Chat because Super Chat, they give a big cut to YouTube for it. So
it breaks things into separate votes. That's the first ask.
Oh, shit. I missed this. Robot Chicken. Huh. I missed both. Oh, okay. I missed Robot Chicken. Let's see. Did this play?
Can you post the schedule?
Yeah, I got that one.
Promo code.
And then Robot Chicken said, would MAGA vote for Vance without needing him to divorce his non-white wife? And I missed that, but I just saw that it came in. I don't know. I was surprised. I thought she might have been a factor because she's not Christian either. If she was Christian, they'd probably accept her more, but she's not. Because I researched it, I'm like, is JD Vance's wife Christian like he is? And I think she might still be Hindu, kind of like Ramaswamy. Yeah, it really depends on how many like true racists there are in the Republican voting base. Where they're like, we not only will we not vote for a visible minority for president, but they can't even have minorities in their family. Like that's like big time racism right there. So I don't know. I don't think they'll poll on that either, so I don't think we'll ever know how much of that would be a factor.
Enough of these omnibuses. It is the oldest trick in Washington, D.C. Put things that are essential with things that are terrible.
Yes.
And then you bind these congressmen that are in tough districts. They say, oh, I vote for this thing because it had all this veteran stuff that I like. And
so I think this might have been at the turning point thing that they were doing that Trump did his really long speech at.
90% of it was garbage.
Yes.
And so if you break it into separate bills, then you can actually say, okay, farmer aid, disaster aid, fine. Do that separately.
Yeah, I guess there are like the really, really super racist voting bloc of the Republican Party that are like, oh, he's race mixing. Yeah, J.D. Vance believes in race mixing because he had babies with this brown woman. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know exactly what percentage. Okay, like, you guys can tell me. If you had to guess what percentage of the Republican voting base is that deep into racism, let me know. What's your guess? I doubt it's more than half, right? I mean, there are people who are just Republican because they're like maybe they're religious, but they're not racist, or maybe they're like really into capitalism. 20%? Yeah. I don't know.
You know why they don't like doing that? They actually wanted to go home this weekend for Christmas break. It is as simple as that, is that there is a lifestyle component to our legislative process.
Yeah, because there are like the people that are like, oh, yeah, you should be having white babies because the coloreds are having all kinds of babies right now. So you need to be having more white babies. You know? There are definitely crazy people saying that. Even gay people like Nick Fuentes, who will never have a baby. So,
and when I first learned that, I said, wait a second.
Jesse Lee Peterson would say that a lot.
We have nurses, EMTs, we have people on 24 call that are working Christmas Eve and Christmas all through New Year's that are making the country run. Our members of Congress can work through Christmas to go do 12 or 15 separate votes. It's not that hard. In fact, the stewardship of the country is far more important than your Christmas vacation.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So they came up with a limited deal on the debt ceiling in order to keep the government running through the holidays. And the right talking point on that is like, oh, they were just greedy. They were just greedy and want to keep spending more money instead of cutting things, and they just wanted to do it to baby themselves. But if it was the other way around, they'd be like, oh, how could they want to be in session during Jesus's birthday? They have no consistency on it. Either way, I would rather the government keep running. I would rather the government not shut down. It should never be a bargaining chip for negotiation. I don't like it, no matter who's causing it or why they're shutting it down. I mean, I can't say that there's never a reason why I would think it might be good, but not recently. Like, all the times the government shut down in my life, it was just... It didn't really benefit anybody.
And, you know, they're working for the people. Allegedly. That's what they're supposed to be doing. I gave up a day of my vacation to be here. I'm on
You're with all these wonderful patriots.
I know.
Look at all these great people
and it's
here.
because everybody here is most likely doing the same thing, taking some vacation time to be here because it's important. It's really important.
What? You're getting paid for this? Shut up.
Yeah, and it's just a phenomenal event here, and glory be to God. And
oh my God.
We always
hang on just a second. Glory be to God. Yes.
Yeah, you guys, him and Charlie Kirk should start debating their religions because Glenn Beck is a Mormon. Glenn Beck. I almost call them Glenn Gleck. Ben Gleck. Ben Gleck. He was like raised Catholic, I think, and then became, his story anyway, was that he was like raised Catholic or Lutheran or something like that. and then became an atheist and became an alcoholic and a drug addict or whatever, and then became born again. But instead of going like the evangelical, the evangelican, I'm mushmouth right now, the evangelical Christian route, he went the Mormon route, which is weird. The Gleck.
But God
Ben Gleck
needs actual physical hands on earth, and you have been. This is your thing. Turning Point is you.
It's our thing. As an organization.
Blah, 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 blah. It took a leader to lead it, and you deserve a lot of credit for the win. And all the credit, well, no, not all the credit, but most of the credit for this, because it was your baby.
Thank you, Glenn. That's very touching, and you know this, and I'll throw it back at you. You've been an instrumental piece in my worldview formation.
Okay. So
he won't accept it. So I got to get better at receiving compliments. I've
heard you, and it's really great, and I'm grateful that.
Oh, I see. I think Glenn has taken a liking to this young man.
You know,
come sit on my lap, Charlie.
We have a good relationship, and we.
He is always so goddamn zen. May your days be merry and bright. And do not blow of your hands New Year's night. Hashtag bad poetry.
Oh, I thought that was good. That was good. Thank you for getting me to 40%. I might stream on New Year's Eve, maybe. We'll see. Actually, I have this medical procedure that I have to get done, and I needed to get it done before the end of the year. And the only day they could fit me in was New Year's Eve. And it's nothing like super intense. Like, it's not like a surgery or anything. But, like, you know how deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums and that kind of shit works. Well, if you're American and you've had health insurance, you know. So I needed to get it done before the end of the year, before your insurance renews at the beginning of the year and everything starts fresh. And the last day they could fit me in was New Year's Eve. We'll see how I feel if I'm not like high from some kind of medication or something. And then, no, it's, I wish it was something like that. No, they're not updating the 5G brain chip. Something way more, like less invasive.
We've helped each other out. But let's talk about what we're facing January 20th, because I am for the spending cuts. I am against raising.
Yes, spending cuts can be good. Where do you want to cut them?
The debt limit. But if I were in Congress, I would have done it this time.
Run for Congress then, Glenn. I wonder where Glenn Beck lives. If he could get elected where he actually lives. I'm not sure where he lives. Oh, doesn't he live in Texas? But I think he lives in like Austin or something, right?
Because I want to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. I think he deserves it. He's earned it. And I find it credible. He's not a debt guy.
Where does he live these
Musk
days?
Is, and Trump knows, along with Elon Musk, we got to grow the economy. But we also have to cut it down. And I'll give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt, because if he doesn't cut the size of government dramatically, he doesn't stand a chance.
He must shrink the size of the state. A couple things. Number one, on this legislative back and forth, is that President Trump wants a clean slate. What does that mean?
He can't have a clean slate. Looks like Glenn Beck lives a few places. Oh, does he live in... It's funny because Glenn Beck is actually originally from the Seattle area. He was born in Everett, Washington. That's really close to my area, like a 30-minute drive maybe, depending on traffic.
Not want to inherit all of the problems of this dysfunctional Congress, and he has to go clean this up, and his agenda that he ran on, that people voted for, would be thwarted. So he wants a clean slate.
He claims to be an independent. That's ridiculous. No, sorry, you're not.
Also doesn't want Schumer to have this him over a barrel with debt ceiling unnecessarily. What President Trump has done, and this is what will happen January 20th through DOGE, is that the executive branch is going to ask a fundamental constitutional question, and it's going to go up to the Supreme Court very quickly, which is, does the executive branch have to spend all the money that Congress sends it? This is around the idea of the Impoundment Act. And it's a very interesting constitutional question. It says, of course, that the Congress controls the purse, the House of Representatives. All spending bills meant to originate in the House. But it's not clear whether the executive branch has to spend all of that money if they can do the duties that Congress ascribes to them for less money. So if DOGE is able to say, hey, we're able to do this for half the cost, why can't they just send a wire back to Congress or say, no, we actually don't need it? And that constitutional executive tension theoretically could result in hundreds of billions of dollars of cost savings. And that is centered around, Russ Vogt has talked about this from Office of Management Budget, who's 10 out of 10, he's spectacular, is the Impoundment Act and then also the Presidential Reorganization Act. I think that's a really healthy debate because our founders never wanted legislative supremacy. You know this. They wanted co-equal branches. And we're living under this idea that Congress can just...
You're door dashing in Everett? That's cool. There used to be a YouTube channel. I think it got taken down, but it was called Everett Tweakers. And it was this like sidewalk. There was a camera. It was just a bunch of people standing on the sidewalk. They were all tweakers.
Bully the executive branch of what to do with spending. You must spend it. In fact, Glenn, you've covered the horror stories of cabinet officials and agency secretaries that have to spend the money. Like right now, what's happening is they're finding things to spend money on because their money's going to run out. And if you don't spend it, then you lose it the next time. There's no reward for saving it. And they'll say, well, even if we don't spend it, it has to be sent to another agency. No, that's not correct. What if every agency says, try to do this for 70% of the cost or half of the cost? And you're talking about a $6 trillion beast. The ask is very simple. Can we go back to pre-COVID spending? Can we go back to 2019 spending? When we do that, we have a $500 billion surplus, just back to pre-COVID spending levels. And so the way that we shrink the size of government and the state is going to be done in a different way, because typically it's like, well, you must immediately get congressional buy-in.
Right.
The executive branch has a co-equal role in identifying and potentially even saving money that Congress was forcing them once.
And the Democrats are taking everything to court. How long before Donald Trump just starts to shut parts of the government down?
I can't speak on his behalf, but I can say, though, that this Impoundment Act question will probably be heard this summer or sometime soon. And if it comes back the way it should, which is this question, again, Hamilton and Madison and Jay, who were obviously the designers of and the explainers of the U.S. Constitution, they wanted spirited tension between the branches. They wanted collision. They wanted
that's not happening.
Not to be at war with each other, but to have different opinions.
I mean, now we have most of the branches are going to be conservative. We're going to have like a mostly conservative federal government.
On how governing should this idea that the executive branch must bend a knee because Congress has appropriated the money.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk's face is very small. Like his head is very big. And it's like someone just shrunk his face. He has a small face on a big, the size of his face is big, but his actual eyes, nose, and mouth are all kind of mushed together in the center.
And so, look, in addition to that, is if we can get, this is where the other thing is that I was pushing for, and I don't think it's going to happen, is if we can reauthorize the Presidential Reorganization Act, which has been authorized in many times, which essentially says if an agency can do the work that is duplicative of another agency, it no longer needs to exist. So let's just take the Department of Education, which needs to end. The Department of Education needs to be shut down. Do you guys agree? And
shut it. I don't understand. Why is it such a... Why do they need to shut it down? Can't they just fix it if they think something's wrong with it? Why do we just not need a Department of Education at all? That seems like a drastic move. Like if you think it's broken and not working correctly, wouldn't you want to reform it? Is this like their version of defund the police where it should be like you want to change it, not just completely get rid of it?
Department of Education.
So do you believe Linda McMahon, because she's a great manager?
Linda McMahon, boo, boo.
She's phenomenal.
Is she a manage to the close?
She shares the president's stated plan to close the Department of Education, but let's just take 3 examples of how that can happen before you close it. Student loans. That should be under the Department of Treasury. Put that under Treasury. There's no reason it should be there.
Wait. Why do we have it?
No,
that was the problem.
I agree. That's going to require Congress. Like that's what I'm getting at, though, is at least you can break apart.
Yes.
I agree. We should get rid of any subsidized student loans.
Yes.
I'm just getting at this is the way that you can actually weaken an agency to no longer exist.
Yes.
Through duplicative type processes.
Right.
School assisted lunch. You can make an argument for.
So they're hiring Linda McMahon to tear apart the department. So she's going to basically eliminate her own job eventually. If she's gonna be the head of a department that is gonna be shut down, she's eliminating her own job. How much is she getting paid as part of this?
Or against it, but school assistant lunch basically that the taxpayers need to pay for lunch. That could be under Department of Agriculture. They do food stamps, much better done. And then finally, they have this whole separate office of the Department of Education that is Senate confirmed Tier 2 position that is the Office of Civil Rights. Put that under the Department of Justice. They don't need your own civil rights division in the Department of Education that goes and harasses our Christian schools and goes after conservative kids.
What?
So you can completely close that. That's three functions.
They have this really big victim mentality where like their political policies that they have all kind of center around them being victimized and that they need to fix these things that people do to victimize Christians. And I don't know. Do they forget that they're still the majority and that they basically run everything?
And you know this, Glenn. The Department of Education actually never existed. It used to be called HEW, Health, Education, and Welfare.
Yep.
And in fact,
none of this existed at one point. His whole point is like, oh, this didn't always exist. It's like, yeah. I mean, this country, is like not even 250 years old. So there are things that exist now that didn't used to exist. This is very weak-minded thinking here.
we could remerge these together, and then we could find duplicative type processes and better synergies. That is even before we get more to the fundamental question of which I have and you have. I don't think the Department of Education is constitutional. I do not think that is in the original intent as written that the federal government has any role in the education of our children, period.
What progressives do understand, but the actual voter that votes usually with Democrats don't understand, is I don't have a problem with the way you live in California. You want to live in California?
Are you sure about that?
You want to, be as insane
Want
as
to
you
be
are.
what? Want to be what?
You can do that. Your own community can vote for that, and that's fine.
Oh, they're doing the whole like states' rights. You can go be a bunch of queers in California, but I want to be near that.
I'm not going to pay for it, and don't.
Oh, I believe that Glenn Beck would want to put like same-sex marriage back to the states, so that certain states can outlaw it, so that they don't have to see it.
Force me to live that way, and that's unfortunately the problem. We have San Francisco values.
That's right.
In small towns.
See how you mentioned San Francisco?
Do not agree with those values at all.
And it's forced upon them. It's forced upon them
because it's federal.
The Office of Civil Rights, the Department of Education.
How is it forced upon them?
Even worse. I mean, you guys remember this was not a very...
You're going to get mandatory arranged gay marriages now.
...covered issue. The Department of Education was using school-assisted lunch funding to force transgender bathrooms. Do you remember this? It was a lesson.
Yes.
Like they said, we are not going to give money for kids that need assistance for lunch if you don't have radical...
Please like the stream, by the way. Like it.
...transgender policy.
Like it.
So what we've done is we've created this insane leverage that the Department of Education should not have over local municipalities and school districts. And the good news is Linda McMahon, I believe, will do two things. I could say just believe looking on the outside.
Yeah.
Two things concurrently. She wants to shut it down, but also fix as much as we can and reverse as much as we can. No more CRT for schools. We're going to not send any federal money after schools that are teaching DEI. And day one, there needs to be a massive push to the NCAA, the NCAA itself, as an official bodying organization, that the federal government will not send another dime of taxpayer dollars if men are competing in female sports. We will not tolerate...
Looks like a ghetto Geppetto.
Geppetto. What an unfortunate name. Pinocchio's creator, Geppetto. God, what a terrible name.
Great.
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot that we can do in the interim to help reverse some of this nonsense we've been living through.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, is Trump going to just shut down agencies? He does. The question is, can he? And
I remember when they were having a big Palestinian protest at the University of Washington where they were camping out on the grounds of the university. Charlie Kirk showed up to try and ruffle some feathers and get some content.
And
well, that's the other
that's
thing.
The constitutional question.
It's going to go to the Supreme Court.
Correct.
And the question there is, do the federal workers...
Yeah, why did, okay, yeah, it is. Geppetto wanted a little boy so badly that he made one out of wood and he came to life. That's the story, right?
in the administration work for the president, or does the president work for them?
This is the fundamental question.
Right. I mean, and if you are part of the administration, that is a branch of the government that is separate but equal, and you have to have an executive that's running all
You're totally
that.
right. And thanks to President Trump with what he did in the first term, I think, Glenn, we finally have a Supreme Court that's willing to weigh in. And look, the West Virginia v. EPA case, other constitutional cases that we've seen in recent years are getting at the fundamental question of, wait a second, the authoring, the birth of the administrative state is illegitimate.
What is in front of Glenn Beck? Is that like a giant tablet? I see like a Chromebook on the right, and then I see an Apple laptop in the middle, and then I see this giant fucking screen right there. It looks like it has a stand. Is it like an all-in-one computer? I see the Microsoft logo on it. It's huge. The iMac is in the middle. The thing on the far left has the Microsoft logo on it, it looks like.
The administrative state itself is an illegitimate experiment, that you cannot author regulation without Congress. In fact, said differently, that the entire premise that there is a fourth branch of government that is unelected, unknown, and unchecked is against our birth certificate. And so I think we're finally, I think the Overton window has moved enough. I know you wrote a book called Overton Window years ago. It was a great book growing up. I read it. It's finally moved enough where I think the American people can stomach it. And here's why.
Microsoft Surface, it's huge. Surface Station. Okay. Yeah, I had a Surface laptop for a long time and it like crapped out and broke on me. But yeah, I have seen those other computers
I love
before.
what DOGE is doing. If they do nothing else than just live tweet the government waste that they find in real time, they will have done a great service to this country. I mean, don't underestimate the exposure of things.
I think we saw the Trump DOGE machine on Wednesday. You know, you can talk all you want, but when the president and Elon Musk and the rest of us have a leader that says, nope, stop this right now, the American people stood up and it stopped.
And here's what's amazing. Thanks to Elon Musk purchasing X and turning it into a more we didn't have to go through any of the mainstream media. We just did it. In fact, what the media is now doing...
Elon is the unelected fourth branch. He's his own branch. He's the billionaire branch.
Media networks are now just reporting what they're reading on X. We can do that. We don't need to watch them for that.
I know.
They're literally just reading X, and they're like, well, now breaking on X. Okay, I got that. I could do it in real time. I don't need your intermediary.
Yes.
And so it's a decentralization and a small d democratization of the flow of information.
I will tell you, when we were talking about Time Magazine and the Person of the Year, there's no other choice than Donald Trump. He is the guy he's going to change the whole world. And if he does what he said, he will be remembered as another Abraham Lincoln kind of guy, kind of figure.
I think you're right.
An anti-FDR /
Oh my
Wilson.
God.
However, the only other choice could have been Elon Musk.
I think that's right.
He did more to save our country by buying X than anything else.
I think you'll appreciate this. I said it when it
Wow, this is just insane. I feel like he's in a competition to say the most insane shit he can think of.
Happened, and now it's proven to be true. It's the most important transaction since the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah.
And of scale and importance.
Yeah.
And I believe it was the cause that was set in motion that helped us save our civilization.
Yep.
Wow. Help save our civilization. Here is Ben Shapiro talking about the most overrated films. Ben Shapiro.
Just a few weeks ago.
All right.
My quasi friend, Matt Walsh, had a whole list of movies he said were overrated. And frankly, he's wrong on
the music. It reminds me of an Egghead video.
Nearly all of them made a video about how wrong he was on many of those picks. I mean, he said like The Dark Knight was overrated. It's just ridiculous.
It's great by Batman movie standards, but it's not great as a piece of cinema.
Now we're going to make a real list as to overrated films. So here's my standard for overrated. And Matt's standard makes no sense. Matt's standard for overrated is like a movie is like an 8 out of 10, but people think it's a 10 out of 10. That's stupid. That's a bad standard, as I said in my video about Matt's dumb video. Hey, the
Egghead Show!
Actual standard for overrated is people think it's a 10 and it's a 0. It's the delta between what people think a movie is and what the movie actually is. I'm going to measure it by not only the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but also the audience score. Everyone has to be wrong in order for this thing to be truly overrated. Let us begin with the single most overrated film of all time, bar none, no question, The Shape of Water.
If I told you about it,
never seen it.
What would I say?
Oh my God! Why you got to play copyrighted music?
This came out in 2017 and it won Best Picture, and it's just It's the worst movie ever made. I'm not even joking.
The worst movie ever made? Really?
Joking about that.
You went away and my heart went with you.
I'm not even a Guillermo del Toro hater. There are other Guillermo del Toro movies that I kind of like. For example, I can appreciate Pan's Labyrinth and Nightmare Alley. I was okay with that. But I'm just telling you, The Shape of Water, it's got a horrible script.
Oh, you didn't like that, huh?
Reverse splash.
The performances are universally terrible.
This candy, it's cheap candy, but I love it ever since I was a kid.
Except for my friend Nick Searcy.
Our universe will have a hole in it with your outline, and you will have moved on.
It makes no sense. It's politically ridiculous. The entire movie.
Oh, okay. So he's like getting political with it.
It's about a woman f***ing a fish. It's just a collection of idiotic cliches.
I hate how this is edited.
A deaf woman who can't get along with the rest of humanity, so she f***s a fish. And among her friends are a gay guy, a black woman.
Oh no, not a black woman.
And
working as a bathroom attendant.
Communist.
Как говорил Ленин, нет пользы в рыбе, оставшейся с прошлой неделей.
And they are all under the thumb of the evil military-industrial complex character, Michael Shannon, who is apparently impotent and has also got rotting fingers to symbolize his impotence. Again, predicated on the basic idea that conservatives are evil and everybody who sides against the conservatives in a circle of the marginalized is good. And also that ladies should fish.
That's it. Smaller, invisible, disfranchised characters that come together to save the ultimate other.
I cannot express my hatred for this movie in strong enough terms. It's just awful. It has a 92% Rotten Tomatoes rating from the critics and a 73% Rotten Tomatoes rating from audiences. Everyone who thinks this movie is good, y'all stupid.
You stupid.
Hey, other massively overrated films. Avatar.
The Avatar program.
I think a lot of people believe the Avatar movies kind of suck. Like the special effects are okay, but the story isn't that great. I don't think they're highly rated, right? Especially the second one. The first one, I think a lot of people did like it, at least, And then this last one, everyone's like, it was too long. That is a movie I've actually seen. I've seen both Avatars. And Avatar 2 did seem kind of boring.
It was a bad joke. Which was, at the time, the single highest grossing movie in film history.
Look at all that cheddar.
Audience score 82% from Rotten Tomatoes, 81% critic score. Avatar is beautiful to look at and absolutely vacuous. It's one of these movies where everyone saw it and no one remembers.
So Ben Shapiro here is going through the list of the most overrated movies, I guess. And I think they're all going to be recently, like, he's not going to pick like 30, 40, 50-year-old movies, I think.
It is Alien Fern Gully. It's Dances with Wolves with Blue Aliens.
I just pissed in my pants.
Alien Fern Gully made it sound better.
It's the Kevin Costner character who takes the side of the natives against the evil, rapacious capitalists.
Yes, there was a lot of like symbolism for like indigenous people.
Searching for, I kid you not, this is in the script, unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
I remember being signally offended by the fact that James Cameron thinks you are so stupid, apparently y'all are, that he could call a substance unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Because you get it? It's not obtainable. It's rare. It's unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
And apparently, the U.S. military is some sort of rapacious blood for oil force on foreign planets.
Their damn village happens to be...
I mean, I think we would be if we could be, right? If there were other planets we could steal resources from, we would do it. Absolutely.
resting on the richest unobtainium deposit.
Somehow you've been able to cross galaxies, but the only way you can obtain the unobtainium is to tear down trees.
I'd say diplomacy has failed.
I don't understand why the military couldn't have just developed unobtainium fracking. I just drill sideways, my dude. Like, it's not that hard. I remember watching this with my wife in the theater, and we both burst out laughing at the end when the Sam Worthington character, who is now back in his normal body, is being cradled by the giant blue lady, and I was like, this is a very weird coupling.
I see you.
More James Cameron on this list, Titanic.
I'm the king of the world!
James Cameron, great with visuals, bad with plot. The best James Cameron film, by the way.
It would have been crazy if he would have banged her in his real body and not in the Avatar body.
By far, a truly great film is Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is by far the best James Cameron film. There are no close competitors. But Titanic is a truly not good film. It revolves around two of the most...
Okay, so he is going back like 30 years.
...most shallow, narcissistic, and ridiculous characters in the history of American film, played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet.
You have a gift, Jack. You do. You see people.
I see you.
I didn't really like this movie either. It was just, for its time, it had cool special effects. You know? It was ahead of its time, and like the subject of the movie was interesting, you know, because people were interested in the Titanic and all the lore around that.
Well,
They're just sort of pastiches. They're just pasteboard characters who are stuck on the Titanic. Like, if you actually want to make an interesting movie about the Titanic, you'd focus on some of the actual people who are on the Titanic without the kind of fake romance story. For example, there are people who legitimately let their spouses leave the Titanic and survive and instead decided to die in order so that they could save lives. Like, there's actual heroism on the Titanic. And of course, this is not ripping on the visuals. The visuals are amazing. But the two biggest failures of the Titanic all happen in the last few minutes of the film. One, move over on the fucking door, lady.
I'm so cold.
I know there have been full-scale physics studies that people have attempted to do as to whether it could have carried both their weight. I mean, at least give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, climb back on. What's the problem? So he ends up dying. And then the single worst moment in any movie ever. So my mom, when she first watched Titanic, she literally picked up an object and threw it at the end of Titanic because the old stupid lady takes a priceless diamond and instead of bequeathing it to her heirs, you know, like the people who took care of her in her dotage, she throws it in the water. That makes no sense. She's a crazy, selfish old lady, and she was a crazy, selfish young lady.
That really sucks, lady!
We'll get back to this in just 1 second. First, let's talk about something that affects all of us responsible, hardworking Americans. Taxes. That October 15th deadline has now passed. Are you prepared for what's coming next? Do you owe back taxes? Are your tax returns still unfiled? Did you miss the deadline? Say Taxing America Say. Find solution for Shapiro today. Say again, that's...
Can't kill me. I died years ago.
It won 9 Academy Awards in 1997, including Best Picture. And gotta tell you, it sucks. It's just terrible. The English Patient is 9 million hours long.
I'm still here.
Just to suffer.
It revolves around characters who are entirely annoying. A French-Canadian, World War II, Royal Canadian Army medical... I have to remind myself of the plot because I just remember wanting to go comatose while watching this film. It is about this nurse who decides to settle in a bombed-out monastery with her patient, and then it's this very, very long and non-plot-filled story, and euthanasia. So that's great. I honestly don't remember that much about this film. I just remember hating it, like dramatically hating it.
Please welcome a great actor.
Sometimes euthanasia is a merciful, dignified way to pass.
Mr. Al Pacino.
That year, what was up for Best Picture? The English Patient, Fargo, a far better film. Jerry Maguire, a far better film.
No, Jerry Maguire?
Sling Blade was made that year.
Right, fried potatoes.
What should have won, obviously, was a film that received no nominations, basically, which was the adaptation of Hamlet by Kenneth Branagh, which is legitimately an amazing adaptation and maybe one of the great pieces of filmmaking ever made.
To be or not to be.
So the Academy went nay on the Hamlet, yay on the English Patient, which no one has seen since.
What? No one has seen it? Okay. He has a lot of
Other radically
assumptions
overrated
here.
films. Get Out from Jordan Peele in 2017. 98% Rotten Tomatoes score, 86% audience score. Unlike some of these other movies, I don't think Get Out's like a 0. Shape of Water is a 0. Avatar is like a 3. Titanic is like a 3. The English Patient, 0. Get Out is like a 4. The metaphor is so obvious and also so obnoxious.
They're probably abducting black people, brainwashing them, and making them slaves.
I understand that people love the social satire, the commentary of Get Out, that black people and white people can never get along.
Fair skin has been in favor for the past, couple of hundreds of years.
And that white people secretly want to turn black people into white people and take them to the sunken place.
Now you're in the sunken place.
I find that so insulting and ugly.
I've never seen this movie.
I think it works very well in terms of a film. It's a horror film, but it was made out to be much more than a horror film. So again, I think this one's like a 4 out of 10. So it's better than these other films for sure. But the amount of just massive approval that was
David Lynch
poured on Get Out as a piece of social commentary, I think is really dumb. And I understand there were some conservatives who were fine with it because it was really making fun of left-wingers, left-wing white people who are like, I voted for Obama, therefore I can't be a racist.
I would have voted for
I don't think anyone was saying that.
Obama for a third term if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands down.
I get it. I get the joke. But don't believe that Jordan Peele thinks that you, as a conservative white person, are any different. He thinks you're way worse than those people. Other movies that are on my list. And again, I have like an almost endless list of overrated films because I've seen so many films. So many. Black Swan. 85% critic approval rating.
Black Swan and The Wrestler are companion pieces.
84%.
They were going to make it one movie. If you've ever seen that, I don't know if you've ever seen The Wrestler. They originally wanted to make it one movie about a ballerina and a wrestler.
And audience rating, I get that there's some people who want to freeze frame some of the scenes between Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman. But let's get real about this. The movie sucks. The movie's just about a lady having a mental breakdown and then she commits suicide. Boom, done.
What did you do? What did you do?
I felt it.
What?
And it's pretentious, and it's obnoxious, and it doesn't give you enough of a backstory for the ballerina for you to actually care about her. It's not even a good study of sort of perfectionism in art, which is, I think, what it's supposed to be. But that's because Darren Aronofsky is trash. Darren Aronofsky is the worst director of my lifetime. I hate Darren Aronofsky. I hate him with a passion of 1,000 fiery suns. Terrible director. Awful in every possible way.
I bet Ben Shapiro thinks he could be a better director.
Pretentious. Try Mother.
He makes shitty movies.
Coherent. Try Pi. Nonsensical. Arrogant. Ugly. Try Noah. The Whale. Okay, I understand it got a lot of acclaim because Brendan Fraser is fat and gay, but like, can we get over it? The Fountain makes no sense. Requiem for a Dream, overrated. I know there's some people who like The Wrestler.
I like The Wrestler. I don't really care about Black Swan.
Wrong. It's bad.
Have you ever seen a dead dog flopping on down the road?
Yes, I've seen a lot of bad Darren Aronofsky films. Okay, in my overrated films list.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Barbie from Greta Gerwig. Of course, of course, of course.
Watch me dance. Dance the night away.
I don't want to hear the song.
If you want like a full hour-long take on why Barbie is a piece of shit, go check out my YouTube video on it. 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% from the audience. It makes no sense plot-wise. The minute that Barbie disappears from the scene, the men, who are supposedly subservient and terrible at everything, it turns out all the women like them when they're powerful and paternalistic and they take over society in literally 1 second flat.
I like not having to make any decisions. It's like a spa day for my brain. Forever.
Hey, dudes, maybe we should be dudes. Hey, you know what? We like dudes.
This is so much better than being president.
Honestly, the only thing anyone remembers is that Ryan Gosling's hilarious in the film.
This is no longer Barbie's dream house. This shall henceforth be known as Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Like, it's the only thing. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, nobody's gonna be like, God, you remember Margot Robbie? It's all Ryan Gosling, right?
What a cheesehead.
Okay, other overrated films. I mean, all of these are sort of heresy, but this one's really heresy.
Fornication and heresy.
I think Avengers Endgame is wildly overrated.
No. God. Oh my God.
94% Rotten Tomatoes, 90% from the audience. The villain is not well drawn in Avengers, in Avengers Endgame.
Avengers?
I am inevitable.
Listen, I appreciate the ambition of bringing together 20 movies or whatever it was. At the same time, it's so overstuffed, and it's so tired, and it's so long, and the stakes are so low. And you know, if Disney Marvel...
I've seen it, but I don't really remember a lot of it, because it was just another Marvel Avengers movie to me, and they were pumping them out They were pumping out multiple Marvel movies a year, you know, nonstop.
Will get in trouble. They're just going to resurrect some of these characters. If they find themselves in a box canyon, which I think they will, Robert Downey Jr. will just come back as Iron Man. They'll just find a way to clone him or go to a different universe and get him.
I'm going to need you to come with me.
This is part of the problem with all of these movies.
The whole multiverse thing. It's not great.
Other major disappointments. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
The whole multiverse thing.
This movie had 94% Rotten Tomatoes score, 79% from the audience. It is repetitive. It is annoying. It is stupid. It is repetitive. After the first 15 minutes, which is charming, it is repetitive. It's just a repetitive music video. It's like watching MTV in 2007. I understand that some people are into the visuals, but it's so ADD. It's just ADD filmmaking all the way through. The underlying ethos of the film is ridiculous, which is that all pain can be traced to you being mean to your lesbian daughter or something.
The pain of having you as my mother.
Can we get over it? And I'm sorry, but like people walking around with hot dog fingers is not my idea of a great movie. Okay, other overrated films on my list. Glass Onion.
I've never seen that, so I can't comment
Knives Out
on it.
mystery.
It looked crazy, like an acid trip kind of movie.
No!
Hey, try to solve the murder mystery if you can.
91% from the critics, 92% from the audience. Y'all dumb.
You stupid.
So dumb.
That movie is a cheat. The movie's a cheat. As I mentioned at the time, I don't understand. Okay, this take is perfectly good.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's pretty next level.
If you are going to do a mystery movie, you have to give the audience enough clues that they could solve the mystery. That's how a mystery movie works. That way, when at the end of the movie you do the big reveal, you go, oh man, I should have thought of that all along. Now, the first Knives Out, they actually did give enough clues that you could theoretically have figured it out given the fact pattern presented by the film.
A donut hole in a donut's hole.
In Glass Onion, Rian Johnson, who just sucks. I hate Rian Johnson. The Last Jedi. Ugh. Rian Johnson literally introduces a character halfway through the film that didn't exist for the first half of the film.
My twin sister committed suicide.
You come with me to that island as your sister.
You could watch the first half of the film and it's made completely irrelevant by the introduction of the twin character halfway through. And that's the laziest twist ever. Twins is like a lazy, it's not even a good twin twist like you would have in, for example, The Prestige. Where again, all the clues are there, right? All the clues are in The Prestige. They show you all the way through that there are two separate Christian Bales. You see his hands, you see him acting in two different ways. You have other characters saying, you don't seem like this other person.
No, Alfred, stop, this isn't you.
Here is,
So dumb, it's brilliant.
No!
so bad.
All right. When's the murder mystery start?
It's insulting. It's insulting. And the fact that it was treated as a clever mystery is an insult to the intellect.
You want to make fun of these people and throw poop at them.
Okay, finally, cult classic Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
I don't really care for it. It was so
It's made
popular.
72%. Audience score, 74%. I hate this film. I hate it.
I wish you'd get out of my life and shut up.
It's stupid.
It was so popular when it came out, what, like 20 years ago?
It's annoying. It's not funny. There are no jokes worth laughing at.
You think anybody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys?
It's the kind of film I feel like Matt Walsh would like. Because again, I can do an almost endless list of movies I think that are wildly overrated, but I think that that's plenty. And so now I wish to issue my challenge to Matt Walsh. That's an actual great list of overrated films. It's way better than your list. So I want to hear your takes on why I'm wrong. And actually, some of these films are great.
Peace out.
I watched Napoleon Dynamite back when it came out. It was okay, but it wasn't like, to me, I was never like a huge fan of it. It is kind of a weird, it's very awkward. It's a very awkward kind of movie. Because I'm really good with a bow staff. That guy, the guy that played Napoleon Dynamite, I think he was Mormon, and it kind of stopped his acting career. He was only in a few other movies. He was in that movie with Will Ferrell where they were figure skaters. Yeah. Blades of Glory. Yeah, they were like two male figure skaters that were couple skaters together. It was okay. It was what I expected from Will Ferrell. He was huge during that time. Okay. Let's check out what's going on in the world of the Jurid.
I'm an incel, mindful as shit. I'm a Christian, and I have been tense. I'm a Buddhist, and I wear no clothes. I'm a pedo, and I think that shows. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a sim pro, and I'm just a chat. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet, it's all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha, I live with my dad. You're a sim pro, and I'm just a chat. I'm a black belt, you know what it is. And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing.
I just decided to play that as an intro. Jared has a channel update. He's rebooting his channel once again. Check it out.
What's going on, everybody? Holy shit, what happened to your garbage on your wall, Jared?
Most of it is still there. You've only cleared away one portion of one wall.
I know that's what everyone's saying right now.
Not really. I didn't even notice until you brought it up.
Because I'm making changes, motherfucker. That's why.
His changes are taking his stupid magazine clippings off of one part of one of his walls.
There's no fucking garbage. Well, on the left side of my wall.
It's everywhere!
Anyway, but... Guys, I'm taking my fitness shit more seriously, and I want y'all to know that, okay?
Oh, yeah? So seriously?
Plus my camera's
You gonna wear a shirt in your videos?
It looks like I'm looking at my nipples, but I'll have to fix that later. I just have to work through the OCD here. So basically it's this, guys. I need to stay true to my name, Jared Juggernaut Fitness. And I can tell I've been kind of veering here lately, and unfortunately, I'll be real with you guys, a lot of it is simply because I don't have a webcam. My gym is outside, as most of you know, and
we've heard you say that, but you've never proven that this in fact exists. So I don't think I believe it.
You know, I'll get there when I get there. But until then, and I made myself this promise, every video I make from now on is just gonna be fucking fitness related, you know? Whether it's talking about other fitness influencers, showing you guys how to do certain techniques.
It's mostly gonna be him talking about fitness influencers.
Or just doing lifts, you know, just fucking showing off the skills. Like Napoleon Dynamite says, you gotta have the skills, bro. What is it? Girls love skills. Oh yeah, the skills.
That was weird. That was kind of weird, right?
Dynamite says you gotta have.
He just brought up Napoleon Dynamite.
Or just doing lifts, you know, just fucking showing off the skills.
Bow hunting skills.
Like Napoleon Dynamite says, you gotta have the skills, bro.
Was he watching?
What is it? Girls love skills. Oh yeah, the skills. So yeah, dude. We have another room in my house that I might move my computer to because
he's gonna occupy. All right, he's gonna trash another room. You hear this? He's gonna trash another room in his parents' house. He's moving from this room. He's gonna have a studio basically in his parents' house. Can you believe that? That if his parents are really gonna give him a whole other room to trash, don't they see this room and how it looks?
There would be more room. That's probably what I'm gonna do, bro, because I'm sick and tired of my fucking bed being in the way. Plus, I like to do my dances, bro. You guys know me. I like to get my groove on, you know, because that's fitness, that's exercise. So, of course, I'm gonna keep doing that, and I know it.
Jared's gonna take salsa lessons.
Trolls my fucking haters. when they see me happy and dancing, oh, they hate that.
Yeah, could you imagine on like a really hot summer day, the odor coming from Jared's room when it's just like baking in the heat?
It must truly suck to be that miserable of a human being. But, you know, and that...
One of the things he's going to claim here is that he's not going to talk about his haters anymore. He's not going to talk about them at all anymore. This moment forward, not going to talk about them.
That's another thing too, bro. I'm not ever talking about another loser hater ever again.
Dude, there's no way that this is like, you know, he's wrong here. I give him like till his next video. maybe a week at most, and then he'll be back to it.
That's all in my past.
No, it's not. It's your future.
All the
your
silly
future
shit
is
drama,
quite bleak,
no more
sir.
Posts about what's going on with, you know, stupid nobodies that I don't even that have no relevance to my life in 2024.
2024 is almost over.
I'm done with my past.
No.
All that silly shit, you know. And I entertained these bozos for way too long since I came back, and I know that I shouldn't have done that.
And when he says he came back, he was off the internet for like 2.5 years because his father grounded him from the internet.
But, you know, it is what it is, bro. I'll admit I like being a troll too. But it's time for me to focus on the fitness. So, guys, I want you to know my New Year's resolution is to be a better YouTuber, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
That's not happening.
I'm going to finish taking down all my shit tomorrow, and we're just going to get into it, baby. I want to show you guys how to do Jefferson curls. That'll be my next video. Great for spinal flexion. I personally think it's better than Nordic curls. That's just my personal opinion. You really want to strengthen your spine if you want to increase your deadlift, as well as your squats. Not a lot of people think about that. So I would love to showcase a lot of different spinal flexion movements. I could even do Nordic curls on my bed. You know what I'm saying? Like I just have to get more creative. You know what I mean? And I just have to stop being lazy, because I'll admit I was kind of lazy. And look, guys, I'll be real with you. I was just hoping someone might donate some money. Never happened. Oh well. I gotta say though, bro, when I came back to YouTube 2 years ago, holy shit, bro. I think I made like $200. Yeah, I had some homies help me out with my new PC.
I can't believe people bought him. I think it's because there's a group of his trolls that want him to live stream again. I don't want him to, because it's going to be a shit show. But there's a lot of trolls that want him to live stream again, because shit will go crazy if he does. And they probably bought him the computer. That's the reason he has 2,000 subscribers too, because people are just buying him subscribers.
And I was able to pay.
Nordic curls sounds like a threat.
Yeah, Nordic curls. Yeah, I'm not even sure what those are. Nordic curls.
Off the accessories too. I got a new mouse and keyboard. But I guess those days are over now. You know what I mean? And I don't want to sound like an e-beggar. And holy shit, you guys hear that outside? That's not fireworks. Someone's having a lot of fun with their fucking rifle. Welcome to the country. Getting a little bit gun happy before New Year's. I don't know, bro. They've been shooting their shit off like all night. It's kind of annoying.
Shooting their shit off.
Anyways, got to stay focused on the mission. So yeah, bro, I'm thinking about moving to another room in my house. One with more space. And I think I'll be able to do a lot more shit for you guys. I'll probably even move some weights into that room. You know what I mean?
I wonder what his weights look like. I think his weights are like homemade shit weights.
I don't think I'll be able to fit my whole backyard gym in it, but
backyard gym. I want to see. It's probably like empty paint buckets and shit like that.
You know, I'll damn sure try anyway. I will damn sure try. So
nope, you won't try anything. Nothing is going to change on your channel, except for maybe your parents might give you a whole other room. Which they shouldn't. They shouldn't even give you the room you're in now.
Shout outs to my mom and dad, too, for letting me do this, you know.
Mommy, can I use the other room?
They don't exactly trust me with heavy weights, but they know.
His parents don't even want him lifting heavy weights because they know he's a dipshit. And he'll probably accidentally, like, choke himself to death on it or something. So they're like, don't lift too heavy. Wow.
That I'm trying my best on my channel and they want to work with me. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for, you know, if I could quote Step Brothers, you know what I'm saying? What's that fucking say? No power tools.
Yeah, no power tools for Jared. He might cut his hand off.
Power tools, Dale, or whatever. God, it's been so long since I've seen that shit.
He is very low IQ. He is like, I know that term gets overused. Jared definitely has a very low IQ.
Holy fuck, bro. We can build bunk beds. Such a great movie. Do some jazzercise.
Yes, Jared, we've seen the movie.
But also, guys, I just want y'all to know I am taking my health seriously. My bulking doesn't seem to want to stop. But
So when Jared says bulking, he means just getting fat. I realize that there's a term in bodybuilding that involves gaining weight to like put more weight into your muscles. But when he says bulking, he just means getting fat. Yeah.
I still need to keep myself in check, you know, if I want to live a long time. You know what I'm saying? And keep pissing my haters off. Hold on. I got something for my haters.
Oh, yeah. He just talked about how he's going to start taking his channel seriously. Like, most people don't want to watch a channel with a fat, naked guy farting. Okay? Some people do, but they're sick. All right? Oh, he shit himself. He shit himself. There's probably like a big brown stain in his chair right now.
Yeah. That one's for y'all, bitch. I stinky one. I know I need to take my health more seriously. Even though I do work out on the daily, I feel like doing this, you know, these workout videos will help increase my health too. Pardon me. And will help motivate me. Someone just shot their gun and, you know what I'm saying? Like, in agreement with me there.
Yeah.
Little shootout, you know what I'm saying? A little celebration. celebrating the Genesis up in here.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Wow, he is insane and delusional. If he really believes that, which I don't know, he's like, yeah, I said something really cool, then my neighbors shot their guns in honor of it. That's how Jared gets W's in his mind. Or like his YouTube channel will get taken down. He's like, well, I was tired of YouTube anyway. Thanks, bro.
So guys, that's what I got for you today. I want you to know I'm taking the name serious, Jared Juggernaut.
No, you're not.
And another reason why I'm taking this shit down is because, I mean, this is all just gamer stuff.
Oh.
You know, I'm not a gamer channel anymore. It was fun. I enjoyed playing games for you guys, but it's all in my past now. You know, one day, who knows, maybe I'll make a gamer channel, but fucking acid reflux, beautiful, bro. I had too much popcorn. I think that's what it is. My mom gets those Christmas tins with the popcorn in it. Yeah. I really shouldn't be eating a lot of that crap.
Yeah, he's about to take the fitness seriously, but he's eating like candy corn. Or, I mean, not candy corn, but like caramel corn. Caramel corn.
I'll be the first to admit it, but you know, it's the holidays, you gotta have some fun, so.
Oh, that's your excuse. His neck has almost completely vanished. It's like all head on top of a pair of shoulders.
I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to say.
You haven't.
I guess it's pretty.
Is that okay? Hold on. Yeah, there's still some.
Guys. Also, I will do something about these sheets behind me. I know it's incredibly ghetto. It's just the fucking curtains that I had were really shitty, and they weren't doing the job. They're called blackout curtains, and there was still light in my room. Because I sleep during the day, I need to have blackout curtains.
He acts like he sleeps during the day, like he doesn't choose when he gets to sleep.
But they were just too small and just, I don't know. Might have to like duct tape my fucking windows. I don't know, bro. But it sucks being an insomniac, but hopefully, you know, fitness will help with that. Exercising more, I think, would help me with my sleeping. So that's another reason. And yes, I am having trouble breathing from all the popcorn I consumed today. So forgive me, guys, if you notice that. Daddy Genesis is having a little bit of a time right now. So I should probably just go ahead and turn the camera off. But guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more fitness shit, and just understand that, you know, all the stupid drama past is behind me now.
It's not.
All the dumb fuckery,
no,
my trolls, and just the trolling, it's all behind me. I'm never talking about it again.
You are. You will.
It was fun for what it's worth, you know, but it's over now. Like, I have to work on myself, and I have to stop using.
You're not going to lose any weight. We're not going to get all this great new content that you claim you're going to make. You're still going to be a fat kid without a shirt on, making videos in a dirty room.
Other people.
I'm wondering. I bet he won't even finish taking all the stuff down from the walls. I think he got bored and tired of doing it on that one section of the wall. But I could be wrong.
For clout, because honestly, that's just beta shit anyway. I don't need to be talking about other men, being a gossiper, even though some people do need to be called out. I'll just let other people do it. I've served my time. You know what I mean? As a troll warrior to YouTube, I've served my time, and it's on to bigger and better things. So guys, stay tuned for more content. We'll see you next time.
Wow. Okay. That is something. I guess we'll see when his next video comes out what he actually plans to do. I got some other stuff that we'll watch soon. I have to do a bathroom break. I'll be right back, and then we'll do some more stuff. See you then. everybody, welcome back. How's it going? I had a wonderful pee. I hope you guys had a good break there. All right. Everyone, please like the stream if you haven't already. And for those of you who like to help support the channel, I'm trying to get to 50% during this stream. If you want to help out, we're $77 away from it. So we're fairly close, and I'm going to be streaming for a little while longer. So if you want to help out, just use the link pinned in the top of the chat. Helps keep things running here. Thank you so much. And we're going to check out some other stuff. What else we got here? I don't know if I want to do that yet. I guess we'll check out the news. The news is something, we can all check out together. Here it is.
He called me, sir. It got me so fuming angry.
People are discriminating against wolves.
Wow. They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
I've got this thing. I got this thing when I stream. I have to constantly be sipping on a beverage. And it doesn't matter if it's coffee or if it's alcohol of some sort or even seltzer water. I just can't stop. And that's why I have to piss all the time. Laura Loomer lost her blue check mark for calling Milo. You mean Milo out? You mean like on Twitter? Can't you just pay for that? Or was it on a different platform? Oh, for calling Elon out. Oh, she's been calling all of them out then. Okay. I thought it was Milo because I saw them arguing recently. Oh, okay. All right. Let's we'll check some stuff out. This is Musk and Ramaswamy take on Trump's immigration crackdown.
I should start by saying Elon Musk is right about the nature of the problem, that there is a problem with high-tech skills in the United States. Mm-hmm. His solution is to immigrate more of these people, and that has got him on the outs with a lot of people on the right in Trump's coalition who say Trump, he ran on this idea of cracking down on immigration and also building up American workers, not foreign workers.
Right, and I think that this issue, like so many that I expect we're going to see in the next few years, really illustrates the gap between these two blocks in the Trump coalition. I would put tech bros and Wall Streeters in one corner and the MAGA folks in the other corner, and there is going to be this juxtaposition. Now, I think that you can actually have it both ways. Yeah. I mean, there is a way to crack down on illegal immigration, secure the border, those things a lot of people are for, and also make it easier for high-skilled immigrants to get into this country. Because the fact of the matter is, and I think folks on both sides would say, there are a lot of labor shortages that are
That's funny. So, the people that had the check mark that lost it, can they start paying for it and get it back? Or is Elon like, fuck, you can't even pay for it now. You're on my shit list, so now you can't even get a check mark even if you pay for it.
Actually the biggest problem to growth, productivity, and really the future of the country. And that is going to require more immigration. It's always been America's benefit, value add, particularly compared to Europe or a lot of other places in the country. It's why we have had historically higher growth.
Yeah, I'm curious, Congressman. Why, I can never figure out, why is it that when on the right, some of these anti-immigrant folks talk about this, they're not also talking about what it actually is going to take to bring American workers to these jobs, whether it's raising their skill levels, et cetera, because I guess they don't want the government to be involved in that. But don't you think it has to be at this scale?
Look, this, I think, is one of the biggest issues that we have to tackle in this Congress. Yes, we need to secure the border. We need to stop the massive influx of illegal immigration. But the fact is we have a population decline in this country, and we have a workforce shortage. We have a shortage of doctors, nurses, engineers, home health aides, ag workers, construction workers, hospitality workers.
I had a bunch of family members that worked at a university that specialized in like a medical school, and a lot of the students came from other countries, even back in the 80s and 90s. So this is definitely not a new thing.
We need to not only have an immigration system that works, that has a legal process that people who want to come here and enrich our community, our culture, our economy can do so. But we need an education system that is ensuring that we are building the workforce that we need. It's not just about having a pipeline to college. We need a pipeline to the jobs that need to be filled, which means our K through 12 system needs to be reevaluated. We need vocational schools. We need to get kids started at an early age on the path to STEM. So that we actually are creating engineers and the workforce of tomorrow, especially from a technological standpoint, from a biotech standpoint. We are the greatest force in the world, and our economy is the most powerful.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Entrepreneurial people. But the fact is that we do have a shortage in the workforce, and we need to deal with this.
So, okay, what you just said is the thing that got Vivek Ramaswamy in some trouble, okay? So here's his post. He says, the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy, wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture, a culture that celebrates the prom queen.
Now, when he says Native Americans, does he mean indigenous Native Americans, or does he mean Americans who are native to this country? Because we've kind of like messed up words. So I think he means like native born, like I'm native born American, but I'm not a Native American in the sense that people normally use that term.
Over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. Sounds a little embittered, maybe. Is it American culture that's the problem?
Somebody got stuffed in a locker. I'm not going to say who. Look, I think there's a way to solve.
Does he mean Ramaswamy got stuffed in a locker?
This and talk about this that doesn't denigrate all of American culture. I mean, I'm now understanding more and more how he got 100 votes in Iowa or whatever it was he got during the Iowa caucus. The reality is, and Elon, by the way, clarified or further explained his position later and was talking about saying, I want to bring in the top 0.0.
So this guy, Scott Jennings, he's a conservative strategist. His job is to argue the conservative talking points on CNN. And the way he refers to Elon Musk is very similar to how he talks about Trump all the time. So I think you're going to see a lot of this when people criticize Elon now. You're going to see the MAGA group attack that person as well.
1% of engineering talent from around the world. It's like bringing in a Jokic or a Wembyana to help your whole team if you want to make a comparison to the NBA. So I think we can bring in the absolute top talent from around the world, and at the same time, not insult the rest of the United States of America and our culture and the way we do things here, and also lift up the American students who have the talent and who have the interest and put them in the right educational opportunities. I think what he did today was to overtalk it. A lot of MAGA people are not happy. A lot of Republicans are not happy. And this is why Donald Trump's in the Oval Office, and he's
saying
a
something
volunteer.
that a lot of people apparently believe, that it's about like the jocks being celebrated, the football stars being celebrated, and not the nerds.
It also challenges, actually raises the idea that many immigrant families have when they come to the United States, that if they just get the right grades and they follow this meritocracy path, everything's going to work out and they'll be great. And the reality is that innovation, creativity, emotional intelligence are a huge part of success and innovation in the United States. American innovation is what sets us apart from the Communist Party of China. But this idea that immigrants often come with also has a baked in racism to it. It's this idea that, well, we as immigrants are the right kind. We're educated. We're not like those other minorities in America. And that distinction is made very clear within minority communities. So, for example, you have...
You're one of the good ones.
Most people would not know that the richest and most educated immigrant population is Nigerian Americans. People would think it's Indian Americans, yet Nigeria was put on the Muslim ban list, right? There is this idea of who the model minority is, breeds that kind of challenge that we have with Korean grocers in black neighborhoods.
I think you're getting at something else important here, which is that we need all different kinds of learning and we need all different kinds of cultures. I mean, you made a great point about vocational schools. It's not just about math or the jocks, which is social skills, frankly, which matter. Actually, it's interesting that most CEOs come out of state schools and aren't necessarily the straight A students. You need to change education in this country. You need to value different kinds of skills. I actually think the idea of a meritocracy built just on, who gets the best SAT scores. And, I'm the child of immigrants, don't get me wrong. I grew up in rural Indiana, though I was also a cheerleader. You can do both, I think that you do need a system to be revamped in a way that we haven't done since the post-World War II period in this country.
Okay, I have to get you in on this because I think Rana's talking about something very important, which is there's a movement to sort of say, let's give everybody a points for their grades and their SAT scores and their IQs, and then let's put them in college based on that. And if you did that, you would not actually get to the most successful people, the people who have the best potential. So that seems to honestly undermine this idea of a pure meritocracy, which is what Vivek Ramaswamy is talking about here.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a paradox here because the point about IQ and SATs and entrance exams is not necessarily that they are that they measure the inherent worth or the full 3D capacity of a human being. Because as you say, there's all these other important skills in life, and we all know this, right? It's that they are objective. Right. And what we saw, for instance, they're more objective than the alternatives, right? There's no such thing as perfect objectivity on these tests, right? But when you look at what happened at Harvard with affirmative action, they were judging on all these soft skills as well, and their conclusion was that Asian American applicants had worse personalities, right? So the test is never going to do that. The test, it's never going to tell you unfairly that you got this math problem wrong, because if you got it wrong, you got it wrong. And there's something very attractive about that, especially to people from immigrant communities coming to a new country saying, they may not like my vibe, they may not like my culture, but they can't argue with my skill.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these other news, it was a slow news day from what I saw. I didn't see anything really interesting today. Just seemed like a lot of the same stuff. Trump did something, people did something. Oh, look, though, I did find this other lolcow. Check this guy out.
Okay, in my last couple of videos, you saw me saying the things I don't like about summer. But today, I am going to tell you the things I don't like about school. Are you ready for the fun? One of the things I don't like about it is when the teacher gives you homework on the first day. Okay, class, for homework, I want you to give me a 500-page word on what you did over the summer, okay? Oh, wait a second. 500.
Look at his shirt.
Words? Yes. You got a problem with it? No problem here, man. We're cool, man. I'm cool.
His head is shaped like an egg.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all. The second thing I don't like about it is the food in the cafeteria. Alright, kids, come and get it! Oh my god!
You can tell he's just like sitting the camera down on a table.
What is that? It's cream spinach on rye. You like? No. That thing is sick. I will not eat that. Make something new or I'm leaving. Well, move it or lose it, Missy, because I am not making anything else. I spent 2 hours on that thing, and I'm not making another one. Eat it or get it the heck out of here, Missy. Well, I never... I'm sailing back to Canada. Sorry. Kind of puked in my mouth a little bit. So those are the things I don't like about my school. And no, I don't hate my school. I actually kind of like it. Anyway, leave a comment or a video response telling me what you don't like about your school, or if you like your school, tell me what you like about your school. Okay, gotta go, bye.
All right, everyone, please like the stream if you haven't already. And also, do me a big favor. I'm trying to get to 50%. I'm $77 away. Just need a couple donos to come through, and we can hit that 50% fairly easily. $77 away. I do have actually some Jimmy Payne that I found that wasn't on YouTube. I had to get it from somewhere else.
Are you searching for someone to see the world with?
Hold on, I'm going to...
Yeah, I have such a great show for us today. Wow, you guys are going to be blown away by my guest today. I have my friends Jimmy Payne and James Rink here, and we're going to be talking about real vampires. And my goodness, I have goosebumps all over my body.
Hell yeah! Thank you. 43.67%. Thank you so much.
Right now, they're both in the studio backstage, and I'm going to introduce them in just a minute. Okay, so if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows, you are welcome to go check out my website.
So on this one, James and Jimmy are the guests together, and then there's a different host. There's no video. That's the Cryptid Huntress. It's all audio only, which it doesn't matter. There's never any video on Jimmy anyway.
.com. That's on the ticker down there, rolling through. You can find all my shows there, from the shows here on the Cryptid Huntress, on
the Cryptid Huntress
YouTube, all the way to Spaced Out Radio every weekend, Saturday and Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so y'all come see me there. I always have good shows over there. And I have great shows over here too. So yeah, so do that. Also, if you'd like to support some of my work that I'm doing here, I have a Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. And also my shop is War Woman Goods. And shout out to everybody who's been supporting me through those two outlets. It really does make me feel warm and fuzzy inside, man. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Well, let's do not waste any bit of time today. I want to go ahead and introduce James and Jimmy. And you will probably know James Rink from Super Soldier Talk on YouTube and all over social media. And Jimmy Payne as well from over there, because he's a guest on James's shows. And were both part of the Super Soldier projects. All right. So let me introduce them formally. James Rink is a super soldier. Hold on, excuse me. Sorry, I forgot to turn my ringer off on my phone. James Rink is a super soldier, meditation practitioner, researcher, author, and video producer. Through his Super Soldier Talk YouTube series, he has helped awaken humanity.
Yes!
Come born again, not tonight, I understand, but I'm still gonna burn with Billy or Paul one day, right?
Yes.
Shabs, and I did a Home Alone to watch where I drank every time they said Kevin. I got drunk off 4 wine coolers.
That's it? Damn, that's not very much. But yes, thank you. And now we're at 52%. That's amazing.
To the secret activities of the covert government, uncovering topics such as brainwashing, trauma, MILABs, which stands for military abductions, and covert harassment, all of which he has had to endure his entire life as a project of Project Surrogate and MK Ultra MILAB Super Soldier experimentation. His book, Lone Wolf, chronicles these projects. Super Soldier Agent Jimmy Payne, a.k.a. Dallas, was...
A.k.a. Dallas. That was his code name, Dallas.
In the secret space program from 1959 to 1996. During this time, he was...
From 1959 to 1996, when I was about 8 years old, James.
A shuttlecraft pilot for the Tall White Warriors of Area 51 and participated in time travel missions with the Montauk Boys at Camp Hero. He also recalls working for the Wayland Corporation, where he encountered a xenomorph at LV-426, which the movie Aliens was based off of.
Yeah, there's all these movies based on shit that Jimmy Payne was part of. How did that happen? 8 years old.
He was stationed on Mars, Titan, and the moon. And let me introduce to the show today to talk about vampires. I have my friend James Rink and my other friend Jimmy Payne here today. Hey, James.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me on here, Jessica. So today, everybody get your Bloody Marys ready, and we're going to have an amazing show in this spooktacular event. We're going to find out the reason why everyone...
Get your Bloody Marys ready. He sounds different here. He sounds like a little hopped up on something. James
hates vampires. And what do you think? What do you think the reason why they hate vampires?
Well, I don't know. Is this one of your jokes? Because you got some good vampire jokes, James. And you also
It's
like
because
a vampire today, right?
It's because they suck. Yeah,
'Cause
vampires suck.
But they totally suck.
That's a dad
You know who
joke.
doesn't suck is Jimmy Payne. Welcome to the show, Jimmy. I see you got your microphone muted, so I just want to welcome you today too. We have so much to talk about this afternoon. James, I told you before we went live, I look like I got the life sucked out of me. Like I look really pale today, and then I noticed you look like a vampire yourself today. So we're kind of playing the roles.
Certainly, I'm getting ready to go into a high stakes game here as we learn more about vampires and where they live. It's a very, according to Jimmy, it's a very dangerous situation. Yeah. So, and Jimmy, I think you might even want to do 2-part series about this event.
So, send me your 1 Bitcoin. Will, send me your 1 Bitcoin. I mean, like, I have a Bitcoin address, so I have some Bitcoin, not 1 Bitcoin, though. That's like $100,000. I don't have that.
All right. And
I don't
we're
know
going to
Jimmy's
discuss.
Is Jimmy here?
Yes.
There he is. There's Jimmy. Hey,
I'm
Jimmy.
here.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome you.
Thank you. I heard you might have some information on vampires that you could tell us today.
Yes, I'm very acquainted with them. This is part of a 2-part story. We're not going to be able to cover it all today, but we're going to lay the groundwork for it. So let me first start off about my background. When I was young, I was taken to Frenchman Flats, New Mexico, at Area 51. And
I thought Area 51 was in
I
Nevada.
was studying the alien craft and the aliens themselves, or trying to understand them. And but what happened? We had some grisly murders started up in Las Vegas, and
I thought he meant literal, like, grizzly bears.
These murders occurred in the early 70s, where they were first they started finding animals drained of their blood, cats, dogs, and it was very disturbing. And then we started, I'll say the Las Vegas Police Department started to find the tourists being killed and attacked, and their blood was drained. So the Las Vegas Police Department, they know us. We have men from Area 51 that cycle in and out, and some of them do get jobs on the Las Vegas department. So what happened was,
All right. Here's my BTC wallet address. I'll give it to you. I'll be waiting for the 1 Bitcoin. Okay. I'm going to put it right there. There you go. That's it. Maybe you should send a test amount first. Maybe you should send just like a little bit first.
you don't, before you become one of the MIBs, Men in Black, you go through a lengthy training process. Now, for those that don't know this, the Men in Black was created by President Roosevelt in 1947. After the war, the Army Air Corps, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard all had their intelligence officers, and the war was over, so they had to adapt to a more smaller agency. So President Roosevelt walked into the Navy Admiral's office, and he had a long black coat, some sunglasses, and a dagger. And he handed it to him and says, "We're going civilian now, and everything's got to go undercover." So that's when the Men in Black was first created. Now, when that happened, they also created the National, they created the CIA and an NSA as well. And, but the men in
Just send one BTC. One BTC is like $95,000. That's what a BTC is worth right now.
in Black was left inside the industrial park. And what we did was basically back engineer alien craft and
93. Okay.
and study the extraterrestrials. That's where I came in at. Now, I've been at Area 51 since right at about 1959 is when I first showed up as a child. And so I grew up around the MIBs. So one day, when I was about 14 years old.
14 years old. It's weird. Yeah. Some of his other stories go all the way back to when he was like 8. And he's like on a spaceship and traveling through time and shit.
As I said, this was going on about the bodies being found in Las Vegas, being drained of blood. So I was brought to the Frenchman Flats medical facility, research facility, and I went into a room, and we had a technician there, and they had an operation the night before, and so when I went into the room, there was a group of maybe a dozen to 15 individuals. They were very strange looking. They were very pale.
Hey, boys and girls, it's Softy back here.
Oh, we're getting ads on this, which is interesting, like baked in ads. A lot of podcasts networks online do this now.
That were with him was equally quiet. I'd never seen that many people that quiet before in the room. So when I walked into the room, there was a line.
I'm still waiting for my one Bitcoin.
In the middle of the room. And they was ordered to stay on the other side of the line next to the wall. Now, I'm going to explain this wall to you because this wall is important. All right. The wall had different types of wallpaper on it.
Okay.
Some of the wallpaper would be like a zebra.
A zebra.
Black and white stripes. You had some wallpaper that had X's and squares and circles. You had other wallpaper that was red or blue or yellow, but it was made where if you stood in front of this wall, you would stick out. You couldn't hide. Okay. You just would not blend into anything.
Uh-huh.
It's purposely made that way.
Damn.
So I went around to the counter where they had this they had a metal tray with a lid on it, surgical tray. And like when you remove organs or whatever, you put them in a stainless steel pan with a lid on it. And the technician, he said, look, Jim, I need to show you something. Now, I had noticed when I walked in that one of the males in the room, his hand had been bandaged up. So this was an operation that was carried out on him the night before. So when I sat down to examine what was in the stainless steel tray, I lifted the lid up. And when I
gotta pee, guys. I'll be right back.
There was a finger, one finger over from his thumb. Now, what I saw is I know it's hard to believe this, but what I saw was a finger that had been removed 5 hours earlier that was still moving.
Ooh.
This finger was still moving it had been surgically removed from the entity and it was still moving. And I could tell by looking at it that the hand was webbed. It had webs between the fingers in other words, this came off of a human hand that had webbed fingers. So next to the tray was a microscope, and we had samples of the blood. And I took the slides that the blood was on, and I put it up under the microscope, and I looked at it, and it was not human blood. What the blood was similar to, I said similar. It was similar to the blood of an octopus. It wasn't human blood. It was a marine type, reptilian type blood. Okay. It wasn't any of the blood groups that
I don't know if you're faking or not. Like, either way, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't expect anyone to give me $93,000. But I was like, hey, I don't lose anything by copying and pasting my wallet address, because all you can do is send Bitcoin to that. So it's not like I'm giving away personal information that, like, I need to, like, hide. So it's like, whatever, like, you can send it or not send it. I lose nothing by, like, just sharing the address, But yeah, I'd probably freak out if I got one Bitcoin just randomly sent to me. I'd probably freak the fuck out, because that would be a ridiculous amount of money to just get. I probably would.
All right. So at this point, the technician said, look, we have to do a test here. So he told it to me very quietly, low tone. So he says, I want you to get up and go to the end of the room. There's a door frame.
Totally.
Like you go into another room. He says, I want you to stand in the middle of the door frame. So I walked over to the end of the room. And
well, if it's not that much money, I'll be keeping an eye out for it.
Stood right in the frame of the door. And then he walked up with his back towards the people that were next to the wall. And they couldn't see over him. They couldn't see what he had. But in his pocket, he had a service whistle similar to what a policeman would have. Okay, it was a service whistle. And he told me, he said, look, he's put the whistle in my hand, and he also had a mirror. I took a mirror, put it in one hand, and took the service whistle and had it in my other hand. And he says, I want you to turn around. I want you to blow as loud as you can into the whistle. And then I want you,
the whistle.
after you through blowing, I want you to put the whistle
This is getting kind of intense.
Put it up to your face and look behind you.
Get blowing.
Look at the people standing next to the wall.
Look at the people. Get blowing.
All right. So I turned and he walked back across the room, you know, and so at that point I blew as loud as I could into the whistle, and it's kind of make a startling. If you didn't know I was going to blow, it would startle you, you know. And I took the mirror and I put it up to where I could see into it. I angled it back towards the wall, and I could not see these dozen people.
Wow.
I could see the wall, but I could not see the people. And I had it in my hand for about 3 or 4 minutes looking. I could not see them. So I turned around and they were there.
Around.
Now, what had happened, some lizards like
Night Gargle Visions.
Colors. All right. Some lizards can shipshape.
Shipshape. Some lizards can shipshape.
They can change their colors to match flowers. But what was unusual about this, even though the wall had different color stripes and stars and X's and round circles, their skin blended in with the wallpaper.
The wallpaper.
Now their clothes was white. That also changed. That part, I know on a medical end, I can look at their skin changing. How they did the clothes is still uncertain to me, unless it's the power of suggestion.
Suggestion.
The power of suggestion. Never look a vampire head on into face wise. Never do that. All right, so I'm looking at an oddity I've never seen before. And so the technician then went over and he had a flashlight in his hand. He handed me a flashlight and he quietly again, he said, I'm going to walk over to the room here by the light switch. I'm going to cut the light switch off.
Gonna cut it. Gonna cut it on. Gonna cut it.
And then I want you to cut your flashlight on and shine it onto these entities here. So he walked across the room. They couldn't hear us because we was whispering. The light cut off. I cut on my service flashlight. And what I saw was their eyes all lit up like a dog or a cat. If you ever had in your vehicle and there was a dog or a cat and their eyes lit up, this is what I was looking at.
Okay.
All right. So I'm already looking at an extraterrestrial that has
extraterrestrial
or that has manipulated the human DNA, and it has adapted to our environment. All right. So anyway, you know, we were able to go out. I was still in training at that time. We were able to go into Las Vegas and remove the entity and, you know, stop the killings. Now, this was like when I was about 14, 15 years old. So some years will pass, and then I'm going to now move into the history of vampires before we go into our next case, our next X-File case. History tells us that before there was a United States or in Canada, there was just this vast wilderness area of America. Now, back in 1663, there was the French King Louis XIV. They sent colonists over to the New France. Now, New France was in
like Michigan and
what we would now consider Quebec.
Quebec. Well, New France, a lot of places that are part of the U.S. now were part of New France also.
Canada.
Quebec.
And it was only a colony there of former veterans that had come to the New France to build a new country. And so, you know, they were running after these men was running after Indian squaws, female Indians, and they needed wives. So King Louis the 14th,
King Louis,
he had a bishop,
Baba
a Catholic
Booey,
bishop
Baba Booey.
in Quebec.
Quebec.
And this Catholic bishop had 3 missionary priests under him, and they wanted to bring the word of God, the ministry of God, to these men, and they didn't want them, you know, marrying the Indian women. They wanted to claim New France, so they write the bishop of that time was writing back and forth to the king.
Where's the vampire part
and the
of
king
this story?
said, well, look, you have orphanages, right? And Catholic Church did. And so what they did, they were going to clean out the orphanages.
The orphanages? I'm going to play. I did another cover version of the Jared Punk song. Let's see how this sounds.
I'm a Buddhist, and I wear no clothes. I'm a pedo, and I think that shows. I'm Jerry Genesis. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha. I live with my dad. You're a Sith bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt. You know what it is? And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jerry Genesis. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha. I live with my dad. You're a Sith bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt. You know what it is? And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha. I live with my dad. You're a Sith bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt. You know what it is? And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing.
What an interesting interpretation of it.
I'm an alpha. I live with my dad. You're a Sith bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt. You know what it is? And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm an alpha. I live with my dad. You're a Sith bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt. You know what it is? And my carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis. Do you know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing. I'm an alpha. I live with my dad. You're a Sith bro, and I'm just a Chad. I'm a black belt. You know what it is? And my carpet is all covered in jizz.
Oh, damn.
I live with my dad, you're a simple.
I tried to get an actual affiliate link for them, and they say they don't have it yet, but I could make them so much money if they just give me a fucking affiliate link.
My carpet is all covered in jizz. I'm Jared Genesis.
Because that's just like a personal referral program.
You know what I am saying? I'm hanging at playground, watching kids playing.
Here's oh shit, is there more? Drum solo. I didn't see a drum solo coming. Weird. Okay.
Genesis. Do you know?
So weird. Anyway, I'm getting back to it.
Young females from age 12 years old up to 25, they're gonna move them out of these orphanages. And they're going to bring them to the New World, New France, and they're going to basically mail order brides. You know, they're going to fix them up with the French men and get them married off. You know, get some babies going. So,
get some babies going.
800 that we know of. All right, that went off pretty good, you know. 800 new brides up in Quebec. And that happened between 1663 and 1673 during a 10-year period. Well, the story doesn't end there. New France also had colonies south of Quebec in the outpost called New Orleans. And New Orleans also had two other outposts to the east of it. You have the Biloxi outpost, and you also had the Mobile outpost. We would know them today, those three areas, as the state of Louisiana, the state of Mississippi, and the state of Mobile, Alabama.
Hey, boys and girls, it's Softy back.
Oh, shit.
If you're ready to lose weight, then
be there for drawings at 579.
All right. So the second batch gets sent in. They sent them in to... They sent them into Biloxi. The Biloxi men got, I want to say here, give me a moment, let me look at my note. They got they got it in 1704. They sent them on a ship called the Pelican, and they arrived in 1704. And then a few years later, they sent 20 girls to Mobile, Alabama. You know, you had the outpost of Mobile, Alabama. Now, so everything's going pretty good. You know, we got the French men married off in Quebec. We got the brides for the Biloxi outpost, and we got brides for the Mobile outpost. Now, we're running up on the year 1721. And we need to get some brides for the New Orleans bunch of traders, fur traders. So they get 88 women on January the 8th, 1721. 88 women landed in Mobile, Alabama. Now, what was different was, you know, word had gotten around by this time that, hey, this ain't a good place. It's hot. there's mosquitoes, there's snakes, there's yellow fever, and so forth. And so they're running out of these good young virgins. So they had turned, they were trying to find women for the New Orleans bunch. But what had happened was not only were the men in New Orleans going after the Indians in the area, they were also going after the enslaved black women, Creoles.
Creoles?
They kind of had a downward opinion about the men out of
well, I appreciate you hanging around and thinking we're great and everything. I appreciate it a lot.
New Orleans. So they said, we ain't gonna send in our best. We're gonna go to the prisons.
Oh God, this sounds like some Trump shit.
And we're gonna pull out the women from the prisons. We're gonna empty our prisons. So the 88 women were for institutional facilities. They were prostitutes. They were just the scum of the earth. Now, what was different about the 1721 group was they looked very, they didn't have no color to their skin. They looked rather pale, like they had a disease. Now, in the old world, there was a disease called consumption, and it was considered a wasting disease, and you just looked very awful, you know, and it killed many people. We now know that disease, consumption, as TB, tuberculosis. So everyone's thinking these women have got tuberculosis, you know, they don't look right. There's something different about them. So they take them and they bring them to New Orleans, and some were beaten. You know, they were running around having affairs. They were prostitutes. They were just ill-gotten females. And, but what happened, strange things started occurring. And so that is when we have the nuns that were in New Orleans got together. They were and they gathered these women up. They brought them to where the church was at to house them. All right. And these women were carrying these trunks with them, and the trunks look very similar to what we nowadays have known as caskets. There were long trunks. They couldn't figure out why do these females travel with these trunks? You know, they thought, you know, they might have had their stuff in it, but they didn't. They were called casket girls. That was a term that the name was used. These were casket girls. So they brought them to the Covenant, and they put them up on the 3rd floor. The nuns stayed on the 2nd floor. And no, it was much more cruder than that. Just a wood box, very crude.
Okay.
Just made out of wood. James, I think I sent you a picture
of
it.
James.
In your email. That's not a representation of it. It's not a representation.
Okay.
No, James.
Jimmy, I was just putting that up there because I heard that vampires actually use a coffin like that because it's in a trapezoid shape. And so it traps demons is what they say. So,
well,
trying to get this off the screen. Yeah. There we go.
But getting back to the story. So,
getting back to the story, bitch. Stop interrupting me.
And the next morning they went up there and they couldn't find them. And they searched and they searched. And they had just disappeared. So, you know, there's starting to be grisly murders all over the New Orleans. So what happened was the bishop informed the Catholic Church in Rome, and the priest from Rome came in. They took silver nails and they nailed the windows shut.
Looks like I did get one referral, though. Somebody did get some Schedule 35 and use my link because I got an email. So that's cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
They would nail the windows shut on the 3rd floor. And they, of course, the nails were blessed. And so that is this is how they first got into what we now know as the United States.
United States.
All right, so you have to know what cities they're in before you can start tracking them. Now, Las Vegas didn't spring up till the 40s or early 50s. But vampires, they're kind of like albinos in a way.
They're kind of like he's trying to say albinos, albinos. They're kind of like albinos in a way.
You get too much sunlight, they blister. They need the dark. Now, let's talk about adrenochrome for a moment here. We've all heard about adrenochrome.
Adrenal chrome?
Well, these vampires, they'll bite you on the neck where your jugular vein is at.
Jugular.
And they have to have the blood. It's like milk to them. All right.
Okay.
Now.
It's like milk.
People used to take garlic and they would eat garlic. Now, that garlic would get into your bloodstream. It'd get into your organs. How would you like it if I took powdered garlic, Jessica, and I poured it on your cereal, and I put it on your eggs, and I put it on your ice cream? It kind of turned you off. You know what I mean? You just wouldn't.
Maybe on eggs.
I like garlic, but okay, yeah, you're right. Cereal would be gross for sure.
And
I'd be mad.
And you gave it to your baby. I mean,
no.
You have a crying baby on your hand.
That's right.
All right. So back then, people didn't know they only knew that, you eat the garlic, that it would, kill the taste for these creatures. So there's a little truth to the garlic now. And there's a little truth to the mirror.
The mirror.
There's no truth to the silver killing it.
I think the silver bullet is actually a werewolf, not a vampire. Right?
Silver's just, a metal that they used because they had silver in the church.
So he doesn't even know what he's talking about because isn't the silver the silver bullet thing is like a werewolf thing.
Made their items out of silver. All right, but getting back to these vampires, we've got a problem here in the United States. And see, New Orleans is the only place that I know of that has blood banks. Anybody can go up and say, "Can I have blood for my ritualistic ceremony?" New Orleans, you can do that. Why is New Orleans where you can go in and buy blood off the street without a doctor's prescription, take it home with you? All right, so you don't know if that blood is from a newborn baby or what. All right, so New Orleans is dark at night. People wear a mask on the streets, particularly Mardi Gras. They drink a lot, and they pass out. And you have people from all over the world, and you can't keep up with them. Just look at all the immigrants right now. You don't know who's in New Orleans. You wouldn't know if they're missing or not. But anyhow, I'm going to get back now to a case that I had to come up in New Orleans. Well, my folks are from that part of the country.
Your folks?
where all these little cities that we just talked about, or my folks all live in those cities down there, my relatives. And I would go down in the summer, and because I know my way around.
I know my way around.
So I always wear my uniform, which was a dark suit, just like you see Men in Black do. But the only time I ever put a religious garment on is when I did put a priest uniform on.
He didn't know what to call it. A priest uniform on.
Now, I have a dual religion. It's Roman Catholic.
Oh, yeah. That's a very dull religion.
And Native American Paiute.
What? So he has two religions?
When you're exposed to extraterrestrials.
Most
of us have dual religions. We can't explain these things.
So
we have to accept what we believe in. But I found that people would talk to a priest faster than some stranger off the street or a government.
So he was cosplaying as a priest, so people would trust him and speak with him, apparently.
So I would put on my priest collar and go on down into New Orleans district. At the time, I knew a woman. She voodoo priestess down there, and
Jesus,
it's a speakeasy town. Tell me what's going on, and where these vampires, where they hang out at. And, word gets on the street.
Extraterrestrials.
Street people. And sure enough, I get a hit. So I go out one night, and I'm seeing activity, and I've got my long priest coat on. I've got my handcuffs in there and my zip ties. I got my wooden stakes and my hammer, and I'm going to either bring them back to Area 51, or I'm going to give him peace. The good Lord has sent me to give them peace if they do not return. I rather them return.
I notice James has hardly spoke. Hardly anyone has spoken, but James almost not at all.
Study them. If not, I will do what's necessary to stop it. Because it will attack your child, drain the blood out. So one night it was just after dusk, I went to this certain area of the city, and sure enough, he came out of the attic window. He was walking on a building, and I watched him for a while, and he spotted me, and then he went back in. And a few minutes later, the female came out, and she's dressed as if she had been in a coffin. See, when they sleep, they look like somebody that's had consumption that's just died. Okay, and so they like to sleep in burial clothes. And she came out, and she was there, on the roof. Now, this is the most dangerous part, because you can't get fixated looking at one. You need to start looking around. And sure enough, there was two more that had come up that was circling around me. They hunt in packs. They do hunt in packs. And of course, I had to do what was the proper thing. He saw me, and I saw it.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class explore
9 and 11 p.m.
And so they could attack me that night. And of course, sunrise, I went in there, I had my stake, and I did what was necessary to take down the alpha.
I pictured like a steak, like a meat, like a beef steak.
I took him out. And the other ones, I nailed up the coffins, and we got a panel truck, loaded it up, get those back to Area 51 for study.
The gargles.
But society creates a priest, and
society
I do not wish
creates a priest.
Father Payne to ever have to do that, but men are trained at Area 51 to do these things, and everything that you've seen in the movies can compare to nothing like that. Now, there is a little truth to Interview with a Vampire. Most of us hype, but how long they live is questionable.
Okay.
But vampires are very real. They're a product of genetic engineering. We are in occupation. Okay, so when you look at things such as the Queen of England,
the Queen of England, the Queen. So he said like Queen and King together as one word. The Queen of England.
Her son Charles, excuse me.
He's also the real life Captain Kirk. He's all these movies and intellectual properties he's been the main character of.
King Charles, excuse me.
King Charles.
They travel with blood everywhere they go. And I know the Queen lady, the Queen, she had to have blood.
The Queen? The Queen.
And so I'm aware of the
Is that a new one? The Queen?
And there's been other times I've done stuff. I'm not going to get into it on this program, but I've done a time jump in which I've gone back in time and caught these creatures. And when you see somebody on the internet and they're advertising themselves as a vampire hunter, just dismiss it. There's too many people wanting notoriety. I've never
notoriety.
I don't go and do public lectures on it. These people are just there for a little notoriety. And they pick up stuff like in this room here and they echo it and they try to elevate themselves. It's usually a cult member trying to do these things, and or it could be somebody owns a business that wants a little little advertisement. You got a lot of teenagers into gothic stuff, and you also have a lot of people who are sick, mentally sick, that wants to adapt that lifestyle.
Mentally sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's more common than we understand. It's just regular old humans,
Not gargle visions.
After the research that I've done on vampires, Jimmy, I can't believe the number of people who consider themselves vampires and how many, I guess they kind of coincide with the goth community, from what I understand, and the Church of Satan as well. So it's not uncommon. And of course, we have a lot of blood drinkers and blood suckers as far as cryptids go. And I guess you could consider a vampire a cryptid.
Well, they're definitely engineered. I mean, something has taken hold of the human DNA and injected itself. And it's like I said, they go unchecked now. There's a lot going on at Area 51. I haven't been down there in years, but when politicians get involved, it's really a bad thing. And even the Catholic Church, which has a long history of documenting these things, they don't really have. When you get into religion, you get into a real slippery slope. So I understand it, but I'm one step back on the side of Area 51. And when you go through and you watch these autopsies and you look at you cut these creatures open, you start looking at it that it doesn't have a soul. And when you have a soul, you have compassion. And these creatures lack compassion. They're very code.
They're code. CODE.
It's very hard to explain.
It's code outside.
It's the closest thing to evil that I think that you can get. It's the closest thing to evil.
Queen Cobra.
I was telling James earlier today, me and him talked just briefly.
Anybody want to throw in a few more? Help us get to 55%. If you're out there, we got a tip goal. It's pinned at the top of the chat right there. Trying to get to 55%. I am the code. I am the code.
At Camp Hero, not far from Camp Hero, you come to a little town called Westport, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts?
And a lot of people don't know this, but the Collins family, if you ever watched the movie Dark Shadows, I think they did a remake of it not long ago about a vampire. There's truth to all that as well, where people were opening graves up and driving stakes through it. These are mostly amateur people. But the purpose of driving the stake through the heart is that it would appear to be dead when it lays in the coffin. But the safest way to do it is to run a stake through his heart, because it'll suck you dry. It uses your heart. When it attacks you and bites your neck, you go into shock and your heart starts pumping. And it's just sucking all the blood out of you. Your heart is pumping the blood out. So to put terror in these creatures' souls, we use stakes to jam through his heart. You see, terror meets terror. That's force.
So Jimmy, when you killed the vampire, did it scream or did you just expose it to sunlight and it melted in front of you?
Well, first of all, we don't use the word kill. We use the word plausible deniability. I'll let your imagination fill in. Now, as far as exposure to light and they burn up, no, that doesn't happen. They'll sunburn very easily, like an albino person.
An albino.
They sunburn very easily. Their skin is very fair, very chalky. They don't have any tint to their skin. Their blood is more like that of an octopus. It's not the blood of a human. It appears to be human, but a full-blooded vampire is going to have webbed feet and webbed hands.
No,
he would appear to look human. And
I love when James
in front of it.
James will say something, and Jimmy will always be like, "No, that's wrong." Every time. That doesn't happen, James. That doesn't happen.
And I'm not sure how it happens, but his brain sends out electrical signals. Now, we know that sharks navigate by electrical signals. We also know bats send out radar, and they navigate by clicks. Well, we have something in between that here. They also are telepathic. Vampires are telepathic. So that's how they communicate between one another. So you have to be aware of that. They won't make noise, but one could get sitting another one in a different room what to do. See, you have to be careful of it. Now, back in 1978, two inexperienced paranormal researchers decided they were going to go down to New Orleans to this convent where the nurses live down there. Well,
I think he means convent, not covet.
Not nurses, but nuns, correction, lived at. And they were hanging around the museum asking questions, and they were run off, lottering. They disturbing. Just too many of the people coming in, hey, do you know what's going on, and blah blah blah, and so they got kicked out of the museum. Well, that night they went back and set up cameras to record anything coming in and out of the attic of the third floor.
Cameras.
Wow.
Well, during the night, the cameras started rolling, and they were attacked.
Got overwhelming feelings.
All right, that's a good place to wrap this up. I think I'm going to wrap this up. I might stream again later tonight. I guess we'll see. Definitely a stream tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for helping me get up to 52%. That's amazing. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I might come back, though. We'll see. But until then, have a good one.